All right.
All right.
Rocco's got some good sizzle on that, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, man.
That'll wake you up.
Cymbals are like...
We want to give a shout out again to Rocco for the incredible, awesome intro video.
Thank you.
Comes on nice and loud, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely blazing.
Make sure you
full
protect
volume
your
every time.
Yeah.
And that's what an amp sounds like.
Yeah, that's right. So that I think he recorded that with a block letter 5150. Is that right, Dan? You remember that?
I think so.
I don't know.
He made a little video for that
before he had the Jose, Dave. I think he had
Yeah.
that. I think he recorded that with his old 5150, which is totally appropriate for this show. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All the game.
Well, he's got a B100 Deluxe, I think, too.
Oh yeah.
I've seen him use that too.
We might have used that. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't remember.
Rocco,
He's one of those
let
guys
us
who
know.
just sounds great for everything.
Yeah.
Right?
If he's in the chat, or maybe leave a. If you're watching this on replay, Rocco, you can put a comment in the video afterwards and let us know, man.
Tone in the hands, that guy.
Yeah. Does help. So number 13, guys. How's everyone doing? What's
Good.
I like to start with a bit of a roundup. Is what has everyone been doing for the last month? Dave, post NAMM, what's been happening?
Well, it took me forever to get well after NAMM.
Oh, you got NAMM
I got
through.
sick before NAMM, and then I got kind of well, and then I did NAMM, and then I got sick again, and then I thought I got well, and then I got sick again. So
yeah,
finally I went to the doctor, and I can you give me something? But even that took a while. Even they gave me the medicine, and finally it's like the last of it is out of me.
Oh well, that's good.
No, I think.
I bet you still work through most of it too. Without taking
Of course I
much
work.
time
I didn't take any time off.
I was gonna say.
I might have taken one day off, but I didn't take any. No, I got to be dying not to work.
I know.
I mean, yeah, that doesn't work for me.
That's Brad.
And no one got sick around me, so that was good.
Well, that is
Lucky
good.
them.
Yeah.
Because my employee always looks at me if I come in sick. He's like, "Oh no."
Yeah. What are you doing here?
He hasn't got it this last time at all. So I guess I stayed far enough away from him.
Well, maybe he just pushes you into that new room that you're in.
Nah. I'm only in here if I have to use the computer. Or now to keep the front room clean at my shop, I everything that comes in winds up in this room.
Oh, that's good.
So we might do unpacking sometimes in here, or stuff in the racks behind me. So there's stuff on deck. You can't really even see what's back there. But
well, most of the time, man, there's so much stuff just around the entrance to the shop. It's an escape. It's a fire hazard, man. You can't get out.
Not anymore. It's a cool showroom now.
Cleaned it out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a wall of Friedman amps with an amp switcher going.
Oh, cool.
And then there's a wall of the vintage amps.
Nice.
With a guitar rig that I've built that I haven't quite finished yet. So,
are you accepting? Like, can guys come in and play? Stuff out or
sure.
Yeah.
Sure, they can.
There you go, guys.
Only if they can play the guitar, though.
Yeah.
No, anyone can come in, even if they can't play the guitar. It's fine.
Yeah. As long as I've got money.
They gotta buy something.
It doesn't make any difference. Are you having a good time? Then great. Honestly, if you're having a good time, great. I remember I had one guy that said to me, he goes, "Have a really good time. I'm not very good though, so bear with me."
Yeah.
Like, hey man, as long as you're having a great time, I love it. Great.
Man, I had that experience with this guy probably a month ago. He came over and around here, and he didn't want to play. And he'd be in his mid-30s, but he's literally just picked the guitar up in the last 1 or 2 years. And he's just learning, some drop D riffs and stuff like that. But he's like, I've found my thing.
Yeah, he likes
You know?
it. I got
Finally.
whatever you like, man. You know, whatever floats your boat. If you know you're into whatever, anything, you know.
Yeah.
You're into rock climbing, go rock climbing. Great. You know, if you're into, you know.
Yeah.
We're just obsessed with guitars and amps.
Yep.
Yeah.
And pickups. and
speakers.
In fact, it happened the other day. I went to this birthday party and I was talking to this guy I knew. And he was talking about the you know, the old Bill Lawrence 500 XL pickup, you know, and he got talking about that. He goes, you know, you can buy the accurate ones from Bill and Becky still. His wife still makes them, and his daughter or whoever else makes them there. And you can still buy the accurate ones. And I go, oh, yeah. Yeah. He goes, I just got one. It's really cool. I go, oh. He goes, it's cheap. I go, what do you mean? It's $70.
What?
For one of these pickups, or $75, something like that. Some in the 70s. And I'm like, what? Oh, fuck it. I'm going to buy one. Because I remember a guitar a long time ago that Reinhold Bogner had, and he had an original in that. It was a Strat and it carved out with a humbucker, but he had one of the original ones. And I distinctly remember what it did, kind of. And it was kind of cool. It's a very unique sounding pickup. Nothing quite sounds like that pickup. And it's hard to describe what it is, but it's a cool sound.
What do you think it's closest to, Dave?
Nothing.
Like in terms of other,
nothing
really unique.
I mean, it's a little more P90 sounding.
Oh yeah, okay.
But
is this the same one that came in the Gibson Les Paul Customs, like in the 80s?
No, I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
That one was the one with pole pieces, wasn't it? That one didn't have blades, I don't think.
Yeah, this is the
Different
original
model.
Blade. This is the one like Dimebag used.
Oh, okay.
And,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry. Carry on. My bad.
Dave, is it the one with the ring around the coils? Yeah, the
I got
ring.
the traditional with the chrome ring around it because I wanted the traditional. And man, it looks killer.
I was like, I think it was about 10 years ago. I ordered one from them. I got double cream.
Oh yeah,
chrome ring on it, and I had it in a Charvel. Like it was like a red Charvel Sandemus type thing.
Yeah.
And great pickup. It's like it's hot, but it's not really mid heavy. Like it's not insanely mid heavy like a JB or something. You know, it's not like nasal.
It's got like a nasal frequency though, kind of like a little cocktail slightly.
There's some spike somewhere in it that's like the kick that makes it bright, but it's not like, I don't know. I had the you know, the one that people say is not the real one, or the, you know, the other one.
Yeah.
Is it BL-USA or something like that?
Yeah.
That thing's really twangy, like really almost like a really hot single coil or something.
Yeah.
Like the real one, like the Bill and Becky thing's more like the Dimebag tone. But
yeah,
like something, I don't know. To me, it's just it's a great pickup.
It's a great pickup, but it was so unique sounding to me that I just like, I'm gonna keep it in this guitar, and I have it next to my bench with other guitars I use, and just to, you know, I'll pick it up just to play through it, and I'll play a couple guitars through the amp when it's done, you know, and just to hear what it does, and it's so unique sounding. I'm just like, okay, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, the top end's really clear on it. It's great. It's not, doesn't get really muddy or anything.
Yeah, but it has this little wah frequency, a little bit like this cock wah slightly.
Yeah,
like, but it's kind of the pokey, cool stuff though, kind of.
Yeah, it doesn't have that thing like a JB's got, where it's like, I don't know, it's not that kind of mid-range thing.
It's hot.
It's got 80s mid-range though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's got that 80s hard rock mid-range. It's just not super honky.
Yeah.
But I love that.
It's a neat pickup. Shay, you'd probably like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
put it in one of your.
I've never played one of those.
Put it in one of your little, you know,
jazz masters,
jazz master masters. I think it'd be cool.
One of.
I think it's not maybe an all the time pickup, but I think it's a cool alternate sound. You know, and I bet money if you double track some guitars with a normal pickup and that, it would be vicious.
Yeah.
That sounds killer.
It's clear. It's like, it's clearer than most of the Duncans that I'm familiar with using.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a little bit more like that kind of thing you get like when you use bare knuckles or something, where it's more dynamic in the top, not so kind of rolled off like some pickups are.
That's cool.
Yeah. So Dan, what have you been up to, man? What have you got? What one of the.
Well, I didn't get sick, which is great. Everyone around me got sick.
Well, last time we were on, I think you'd been sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been last time or the time before I'd had the sickness. I think it was just before Christmas I had the illness and everything, and it got me good. But I kind of got through it pretty quickly and then managed to avoid the second wave of sickness that hit everyone that I knew, all through January. And but it's just been busy since the new year, really. Lots of mods, lots of rebuilds. There's loads of things that I had lined up, orders that came in last year. They were quoted, long wait times and stuff on them. So I've just been getting to that kind of stuff now, and it's lots of multi-channel rebuilds and stuff like that, where it's got like the
hole drilling.
Yeah, loads of holes. That's the only thing. The drill bits are taking a battering right now. So
got to get that. You got to get that drill template going, man.
Yeah, exactly. So lots of all that kind of stuff, and I had a couple of amps come back in for some routine maintenance, and a couple of oddballs come in. I had a wizard come in a couple of weeks ago, which is kind of nice. It's I think it needs. I think it's an MC2.
Oh, yeah.
I think. Shit, I'm really terrible with the model names on those, but it's got this really cool like Tolex on the head shell, like two-tone and everything. It looks great. It weighs a ton. It's like trying to move a 2x12 cabinet or something, trying to move this head, It's like heavy as shit, but super, super powerful. Like ungodly powerful. It makes Marshall seem quiet in comparison. Ridiculous shit, but one of those come in. And
did you enjoy playing it, man? I'm assuming you had like a played it a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it sounds great. You know what, for me, like it's the kind of thing that you really want to crank it up and push some air with it, because I think if you play one of those quiet, you just don't really experience the whole point of it. That's not an amp that was designed for anything less than gig levels.
No, and I remember that it might have gone through some revisions, but I remember the very early designs of that. The channel, the master volumes are quite early in the preamp.
Yeah.
So when you pull the master down, you're actually attenuating some gain that'll, some overdrive that you'll get from later stages. So you really got to crank them.
Well, that's it. I think there's sort of like some certain similarities with it, and say like a Jubilee topology, because you can see the similarity in like the input gain, the lead master, that kind of thing. But there's more going on. Obviously, there's more
the LEDs.
Yeah, the LEDs and all that stuff. It's all key to that kind of sound and everything. But then it's got its own kind of thing going on that takes it in its own direction, which is cool.
Yeah, agree. But
it needs to be just raging volume, and then you really just gives you this massive grin when you just hit a big open chord on it, killer thing. But it's nice to get to visit that kind of stuff as well as do my own thing. And it's been busy. So
all right, man.
Sort of like playing a vintage high watt.
Yeah.
Cranked.
Yeah.
And where you just hit one chord and it's just like
Yeah, 100%. Also the other amps that were like made by the same kind of groups back then, like Sound City, like those ones. Like we had one of those in my family, before, that was like it's just like crystal clean until it's just up to like arena volume. It's just crazy headroom on it, but you hit an open chord on it. It's just,
we had a high watt DR103 on the bench yesterday. And the guy that was working with me that sometimes helps me out, he's like, it's amazing how clean these stay. And he's like, look at this on the scope. And it's like a perfect sine wave.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect sine wave till it's like at 8 or something.
Wow.
And it's loud as hell. And he goes, it's like a perfect sine wave. Great pedal amp.
Yeah, exactly. You can understand why, all the guys who play them always hit them with, dirt pedals and, distortion pedals, fuzzes, you name it, because they're just great with those things. I mean, they just give you just insane clean output. But not really to be, those kind of things though. They come alive when you push them.
Just think what the sound guy would say.
Oh yeah. The sound guy.
We can't play that loud.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. People used to.
Yeah. Always worked back then.
People used to use amps also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just went through that with some guys that
some people still do.
Used to always use amps, and now the band, the three different players just were all on quad cortexes with just in-ears, and I'm like looking at it going, oh man, this is just gonna suck.
The front row is just like hearing nothing. Basically.
This is gonna suck.
Kind of depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, especially with the band, it was. It was like Marilyn Manson's band, and they used to be brutally loud and with peak stage volume, and like now to see this, I'm like, and this is brand new, so this hasn't even gone out yet, so I haven't seen it. So, but
still,
not good. Bring back loud stages.
It's
you gotta have some. You gotta have some volume on stage, man.
Like I said, even if it's I don't care. Even if it's a little, even if you got a 20-watt amp and a 112 cabinet, at least there's something there.
You gotta have
energy,
something.
right? You need that energy coming out of the cabinet. It generates energy that moves through the air. It's the whole point of the whole experience. If you haven't got it, it's just stay at home and listen to a CD or some shit. If you want to do that.
I'm spoiled, man. I can't even enjoy a 412. I gotta have 8 of them when I play guitar.
This guy knows it.
Yeah, that's your test. That's right. So Shay's workshop, there's 2. He hands you a speaker cable. So because I've worked on amps, obviously over there, right? And you get the amp fired up. He hands you the speaker cable to plug into your back of your amp, and it's connected. You got 2 4x12s in parallel, but they're daisy chain, right? So you got that orange cabinet. It's got the parallel jack on it or whatever.
Yeah.
So so you just get the full experience too. It's like the amps always sound good. Like,
yeah, and the orange 412, the brace has been taken out of the inside of it too, so it's extremely bassy.
Yeah.
And then the other one's just normal, so it's quite a cool sound.
Fun.
Yeah.
Good sounding cat, man. That one. So Shay, what have you been up to, man? You've been populating boards, getting ready.
You've been modding things.
Yeah, I've been modding. Yeah. I'll tell you what. The last time, so we did one of these a month ago. Right after the Super Bowl, I got so sick. Oh my God. I was down for 2 weeks. Bad. Like, I haven't been that sick in a long time, and everybody around me got sick. So I'm good now. Man, that sucked. And I did some work in there, but recently, like within the last 2 weeks, I've been getting a lot done, which is good. So I've got some mods I've done. I've built a skeleton key, and I've built an unholy grail. So we're getting ready to do a release of those. Probably next week, I'm going to do a small run of each of those, which will be cool. Got a new revision for the skeleton key.
What'd you do?
Yeah. So, that
secret.
I'll tell you. So that amp, the bottom input is really kind of the core circuit of what that amp sounds like, and then the top input is just like a extra triode gain stage, which is, really, I modified that. I was never quite happy with exactly how that felt, so I just kind of opened up that triode, made it a little more open sounding and less compressed, and it sounds great. I'm stoked, but I think that amp has always been, the skeleton key has always kind of been something that I've done revisions on forever, so it can stay that way, so it's cool.
Yeah.
And then that's about it, man. I'm getting ready to get into some builds. And
the mod, talk to us about the mod that you posted a photo of the late 70s.
Oh yeah, I did a 78 JMP Unholy Grail mod, and DC heaters. Used the front board from production, chopped it off, and it fit perfectly in the front panel, and it sounded really good. Pretty stoked on it. But yes, I sent you guys that picture. I sent you guys that picture in the group chat. Yeah. Because Dan, you see Dan's stuff, Dan's mods. It's like the bar has been set very high. Gower has set a very high bar. So, and it's inspiring because when I get into something, I'm like, hey man, it's gotta look good. It's gotta sound
I hope
good.
you charge enough.
I did. Yeah.
No, not you, him, Dan.
Him.
Yeah. I could charge more, yeah. I try and keep it reasonable.
With the multiple channels and everything, I know exactly how much work that is.
I know.
God.
And I've reevaluated some of that over time, and I was just like, I'm going to charge more because this just takes too long.
It takes
100%. Yeah,
you have to keep a track of your time, don't you? You got to I've thought about that a lot because it's you're sacrificing. If you're doing that work, there's something else that you're not doing that you could be doing. You really got to weigh it up. I look where you should be spending your time. I look at the mod work like R&D. Yeah.
Yeah. For the production work, kind of.
Yeah.
So someone might give you an idea or something, or you're like, I kind of want to do this, but can you make it a little more like this? I'm like, yeah, maybe. Okay, hold on, let me play with it. And then you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, actually. All right. But you might spend an exorbitant amount of time playing with something just because you want to. And you can't really charge them for that. That's
right, man. Yeah.
That's like your own playing around time.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's when you're doing like the multi-channel thing, and you're doing all the extra shit, like there's kind of set options that I do specifically so that I know, okay, every time I'm doing that one, I'm doing it that way. For example, also like I more recently did some PCBs for the add-ons and things because, it's it's kind of more reliable in the sense that I've designed it, I've worked on it, I've revised it where it needed to be done, and now I can basically drop those in, wire them up, things like that, rather than sitting there wiring up old school tag boards and things like that. So, you have to kind of work out ways that you can keep producing this stuff more and more. Without spending insane hours doing it, because otherwise you can't do enough amps to make a living from it,
yeah
but you at the same time you absolutely don't want to give in and do that kind of thing if it's going to take away from the tone. So then you've got to spend the time making sure that these kind of things like PCBs or other things you do, you've got to make sure they sound as good as the hand-wired version. So that takes time, so it's fun to do.
I mean, we've had over the last couple of weeks, Shay's had a couple of conversations with me about the mod boards because obviously we've all looked at some of the add-ons that you've created, Dan, for your stuff. And I've done a little bit of that with with the Evolve DIY stuff, right? But I haven't really thought about it in terms of boards used for modding JMPs, and Shay, what you did with the Unholy Grail, because you literally took the front PCB of your production amp, cut a bit of it off, and then used that for an Unholy Grail mod on a Marshall. So it's like
it worked great too.
Yeah, it works
great. What's funny? So the one thing too, I did one of these previously. I've only done 2 of these in JMP mods, and the first one is a little brighter. It didn't, it was in the ballpark of the production amp. And I always kind of thought, the PCB boards that we use and the grounding planes and all that, obviously that's going to take off some, some top end noise and stuff like that. But this one that I just did, I mean, it was really close. And so I'm going, okay, well, it's got to be the pots then. Maybe it's the pots that are doing that. Then
it can be all sorts of things. I mean,
there's too many things. I don't think you can just easily say.
It's an interesting question, isn't it? Why
the pots are big though? The pots are definitely a big one.
I mean, I've had amps though. I mean, like old amps that are just like, wow, this one's really bright.
Yeah.
Why? And then you start trying to go down the rabbit hole. But in the end, you can't really figure out why this particular one is so bright. But then you alter the circuit to your liking, and you play with it, and you play with it until you're like, all right, now it's fine.
Yeah.
Or that's good enough. I'm good with this. This is fine. It can leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there can be so many things, right? I mean, I also think, you don't even know if the material for the chassis changed from different suppliers, things like that. It can be different materials.
And probably not. Yeah, but probably not that, right?
Could be anything. I mean,
but the capacitors that are used on the board and the old JMPs, which ones are they? The green ones? Are they the red ones? Are they the white ones that fall apart in your hands? Are they the
I can remember having.
I just take those out. They just fall apart.
Yeah.
You heat it up slightly and the leg falls out, and you're like, well, okay.
The voltage is slightly different. But yeah, I can remember having two 1976 2203s here at the same time. They can't have been that far apart from the factory. The voltages were within, on the B plus, maybe within 5 volts. But they sounded different. Like, I couldn't. I went through every single component. Couldn't figure out where the difference was coming from.
I think we've talked about this before too, but we don't really know, like, say, transformers and stuff like that, age, like what age and environment does to these things.
Yeah.
Who knows? I had a 72 or 300 watt that came through that someone, I've dealt with this guy before, and he just basically wants it to be, Van Halen, basically. And I'm like, I helped him pick it out online. And I go, okay, this one's, you got to change power transformer, but that'll be okay. But it's got to, but it didn't have the plexi output transformer. It had the transformer right after. And I'm like, it had mustards, and it had, it had a PC board, which wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it was pretty untouched. So that was good. But after getting it, the transformer they put in was not, it was a half-wave bridge transformer. It was supposedly a Mercury transformer, but I didn't have a name on or part number on it. I think they used different end bells or something. It was a lay down, but it was, but I don't know what it was. Had the approximate right voltage and a little lower, maybe 450-ish. But man, this amp, when I was finished with it, it was like Eddie Van Halen's amp.
Nice.
Wow.
It had this super gainy, gushy thing that I can't describe. But when you
stop it, Davey.
You're
driving me crazy.
Like, oh my God, that's it. That's it. He's gonna be so happy.
It had the roar.
It had that thing, and they don't all do that thing.
No.
Yeah.
Just had
it just had it. And when you set it up, it had EH6A7s in it, and it's set up for 90 volts, biased, hot, and the whole 9 yards. And when you do that, it was so gainy and so sustaining and so gushy. It was just like, oh God.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're just like, you're not getting your amp back,
I almost like, can you send it back to me? Because I want to look a little closer.
Yeah.
I want to measure a few other things.
We just take that chassis out, put it in a different.
This was your one.
My 1968 or 9
trade.
Yeah, it was really good. And I told him he hadn't gotten it yet, and he's like, he's looking to buy another amp and this and that. And I'm like, wait a minute, you don't need that. You don't need that. Just wait till you get this one. You don't trust me. Wait till you get this one. And he's like, he gets it, and he sends me a video of him playing some Van Halen shit. And I swear to God, it sounded like the original shit. And I'm like, yeah, I told you.
Yeah. Some of them have just got it. It's just you just can't quite put your finger on exactly what it is. There's too many variables, right?
Yeah.
You can think that you've got like most of the spec down, and I mean that is like, it'll be like 80% of that right there. Yeah. But there's little variables that you just can't put your finger on, and I'm just convinced that at this point maybe it's just variation in transformers and stuff. I mean, even if it's the same transformer, it might be plus or minus I mean, what are the tolerances on a transformer?
Probably bigger than we want to know.
Pretty wide.
What you guys get transformers now? What are the tolerances typically like when you buy transformers?
For sure, 10%, if not bigger.
It's got to be 10% minimum, right? Maybe more, maybe 20. Yeah. So like think back to the 60s and 70s, it's got to be like 50% probably. You know, so it's like you don't know what you're getting. That's probably why they just sound so different from one another.
Yeah, who knows?
It's just so many fucking variables. But
I think so.
But when you get the right one, oh man, it is just bliss.
Don't sell it.
No.
So Shay, just a question about modding. So you did the you basically did your Unholy Grail gain channel in that Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
Would you get to the point with someone where that you basically turn around and say to them, look, man, why don't we just do one of my amps for you rather than modding your?
You know what's funny is there's some guys that they just like the Marshall mods. Like I've got customers that just use the production amps, but then there's like some guys then they like the mods and that's their thing.
Or they'll swear it sounds better.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Definitely a thing though, right? Yeah.
And you know, I always think you're actually probably listening with your eyes at that point.
Yeah. I mean,
if you set up a blind test, I bet I could fool you.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
But
I mean, but honestly, it's great to have people who like both because I like to do both. I like to do production and mods. Yeah, works good on the
completely
timeline.
Agree, man. I completely agree. Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, it's also a way of introducing them to the brand. Like for me, it's been like that, right? Like they might start their relationship with you by sending you their Marshall.
Yeah.
And if they like the results, then they want, or maybe they'll send you another one, or maybe they'll end up then ordering, one of your own amps or whatever. Right? So
and like Dave said, I mean, it's huge R&D. Especially like when you're getting into a different amp or something like that. I mean, it's just, you learn a lot in the mods and that carries over to production. So
yeah, absolutely.
To some extent, every mod is a little bit unique anyway. I mean, like, even though like I'm like a lot of times I'm doing set modifications, where people can obviously add on extras and things, like depth, mid switch, all this kind of stuff. These are all extras, but the main core mod is relatively, the same kind of recipe every time. But then, it always slightly goes in one direction or the other when you finished it, because you don't just mod it and just sign it off the bench. You then spend a day playing it, like testing it with different guitars, and you're like, hang on, this doesn't feel quite right. But I've followed the recipe, but it's not the same as I'm expecting. And then you've got to tweak it and then find your way with it. So
totally,
like, man. I sort of don't really look at it in the sense of like, oh, okay, I'm just trying to get the exact same thing every time. I know that kind of reference sound, but I'm also trying to get the best that I think that amp can get. If that makes sense. I don't see a reason to try and make that amp sound 100% identical to the last one. I want it to, if this amp has something special about it, that maybe, maybe it's a little bit more edgy in the top end, I want to work with that. I don't want to kind of try and tame it and turn it into something it's not. So it's like every mod kind of has its own.
Yeah. And you've also inevitably spoken with the owner or the customer, and he's probably said, or she said, hey, can you make it sound like this? Or like, you get an idea of where their home base is, from that conversation as well. So
I always ask, like, what kind of sounds you're looking to get.
Me too.
Maybe some examples from some albums or tunes or whatever.
Who are your favorite guitar players? Like,
all that stuff. And then I'm like, okay, what guitar, what strings, what pickups, that's it, and then that way you sort of know what you're going to kind of be tweaking it in that direction.
Right.
So, but Shay, surely though, like, you're like with you doing the production stuff, like, and then when you revisit doing the Marshall mods, it must be fun, right? Because it's when you're doing production stuff,
range,
it's much the same kind of thing from one amp to another, because you're looking for consistency, right?
Exactly.
So then when you get back into the mods, you can kind of like stretch out a little bit and do some things that you wouldn't do in the production stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think for production too, what I've over the years is when you're buying parts for like runs, if you want to have like buying a lot, like a big batch of say pots, like that are all in the same batch, that's a really good way to stay consistent rather than just buying stuff when you need it. You know, there's a lot to that.
Yeah, but like when you get lucky and you get the what was it? I got 3 actual dead on 1 meg pots in one bag, 100% exactly.
I stopped looking.
Yeah, that measurement.
I just throw it against the wall, and you know,
I just feel one meg. One bag though. Like,
I'll only measure if something doesn't sound right, and it's like, well, if something's wrong here, then you might go in and have
you know what? I can't. I used to do that, but like now, I don't know. I had a couple of pots that were dodgy right off the bat, and then like since then, I've
had it happen.
Yeah. I was chasing my tail for ages, for days, trying to get something right, and found it was a pot off values. So I was just like, nah, got to measure them now, you know, consistently.
Yeah. Well, what do you do with all the ones you bought that don't measure? Right.
Yeah, you find other things using, right?
I'd rather
the bass control.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You know, something that like is less effective. You know, like you can use them on a depth control. If you got 1 meg pots,
there you go. Yeah.
Depth control, totally okay. You know, so there's always a use for it. But no, they got to be kind of in range. You know,
on depth controls, I always put a resistor across them anyway, because I actually find it sounds better.
Right. Yeah.
Because I remember coming up with this with when I used to do a fixed resonance circuit, you know, where it was just a resistor and a cap.
Oh yeah.
Like, God, this sounds really good. I like it. And then when I started doing pots, I'm like, I mean, I literally add a pot to the same amp, you know, and like set it exactly the same setting, you know, the same amount of resistance. Like, it doesn't sound the same.
Yeah, different.
I mean, it's doing it, but it sounds different. It's weird. And then I started putting resistors across it. I'm like going, oh, there, it's fine now. So I wind up 1 meg pots wind up getting a 1 meg resistor across them, because 500K is plenty.
Which is still plenty, right?
Yeah,
you don't need much.
Yeah,
you don't need much, man. You know that with the depth pot, right? Like, from 0, you can totally hear that it's not in the circuit, and then as soon as you crack it on, it's like there's heaps. And then it's like not much happens, right? So 500K is plenty.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should turn it up past that anyway.
No,
I kind of end up using it lower a lot of the time, and I have the negative feedback control turned up higher, you know, on mine. You know, I kind of like that for myself more, you know.
Yeah,
just I don't know, just more.
For sure.
All right, I'm gonna get to we've got a couple of super chats here we need to get to, but just before that, I saw a couple of things from my end. First thing is the channel hit 15,000 subscribers since we were on last, so
nice.
Say thanks to everyone that subbed and has taken an interest in what's going on the Head.
And while we're at it, channel. go and
go and subscribe now. That's it.
Subscribe. Wait, party reaction.
And we're doing the
Gonna work. Work. Come on. What are you doing? I'm using a different system tonight.
There you go. You can't do that.
You were the original.
Oh, there you go.
That's Dan's.
So I'm doing the Sydney guitar show this weekend with Charles Cillier.
Fun.
Yeah. Nice. So if anyone's in the New South Wales area, Sydney area, and you're looking for something to do this coming weekend, make sure you come down to that. Say hi. We'll have all the gear there, so you can have a play through the amps and make some noise.
Cool. Play some amazing guitars.
Yeah.
You said Sydney? Is that what you said?
Up in Sydney. That's right.
Sydney.
So
that's how far from you?
9 hours drive from here.
Ooh,
man.
Nice little trek.
And I've decided to drive up. So I was going to freight a pallet up, because I'm going to take up a couple of 4x12s and some heads and some rack gear and all that. And I was chatting to Charles about it, and he's like, dude, you know, by the time you get the whole airport thing and fly and all that rubbish, and the cost of freighting the pallet and all that, just throw it in your wagon and just drive up, man. Make a day of it, you know. I was like, yeah, you're probably right, actually. So,
9 hours is a long drive, though.
It is. I tell you what, man. For all the
6 is
for the guys and any Aussies in the chat who grew up here, like Brad or whatever will be like, yeah, 9 hours is nothing for me because I didn't grow up here. I grew up in a small country, New Zealand. It's 9 hours is a long way. I know.
Yeah.
I've never driven it, so.
But it makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
And it's like, nothing's going to get damaged either too, man, because like, you know,
big factor.
as soon as you're freighting stuff, it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't need dickheads handling your amps and throwing them around.
Exactly, man. Yeah. All right. So we've got a super chat here. We're going to get to this. And then we're going to get, finally, we will, because normally it takes us an hour to get to the special topic.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, what are we going to talk about? I don't know.
Yeah.
Never short.
We always find plenty to talk about.
We'll finally get to Laney. Okay. Here we go. Flash84. Hey, man. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. So, do all 4 of you use Marshall circuits as the foundation for your builds? And why is that? And are there any other commonly used circuits for high gain? Are Bogners based on Marshalls too? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 questions in here.
Oof, yeah.
Well, you know, I guess if you really want to get into it, it's really a Fender circuit.
Yeah, everything's a Fender.
Fender 410 Bassman was the original. Actually, the RCA2 manual was the original, and then the Fender Bassman, and then Marshall was a copy of a Fender Bassman. But Marshall became synonymous for gain, you know, more so than Fender did. So I think that's sort of why we use that platform. That's what we grew up with, and you know.
But it's the platform based around like cathode follower driven EQ. With gain stages in front of that, and the master. Yeah, that's. I mean, for me, that architecture, 100%. All my stuff's based around that.
Yeah. And Bogners are based around that.
Yeah, 100%.
Bogners are. I mean, his early circuit. I mean, like the Snorkeler's not necessarily. I mean, sort of. Based on a Marshall, the front end's a bit different. But all the other amps are based on Marshalls or Basements, if you want to look at it that way. So are Soldanos. So are
it's really
Laney's. So are
I always wondered about the early Bogner and the Engl stuff that was coming out in the 80s, if that was more of a modded Fender, if they were modding Fenders that were non-cathode at the time, or kind of how that came to be. Possible. But the
I think if you look at like commonly used circuits for high gain, well, obviously the Mark series stuff can it is a high gain.
That was Fender
when you said it. It's Fender based.
Yeah, exactly. It's high. It's like a super hot rodded Fender, right?
Hot rod Fender.
You've got the same phone stack right after the first stage.
This is the thing about. I remember watching a Leon Todd video where he. So Leon knows enough kind of about how circuits are put together to use that knowledge to dial amps in, and he did this video years ago where he was explaining to people why the EQ on a Mark Series amp is basically useless, and you have to dial it a certain way, and then use a graphic at the end to shape the tone, right? And it's like it makes complete sense when you think about it in terms of where in the architecture of the amp that EQ is. And if you put if you're trying to get a high gain tone out of one of those amps and you put the bass on 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever, this just doesn't work, right? Because as we all know, when you have too much bass in the pre, it just tends to mush.
Ola said something interesting about the Mesa stuff. So like he characterized the standard EQ on it, sort of like, if you think about high gain and what we do with our boost pedals, boosting and tightening the front end. Think of the EQ as like your boost pedal, boosting the front end and in the EQ curve of that and tightening it up. And I'm like, oh yeah, well that's what you're basically doing. You're pulling the bass way the hell out. You're that mid isn't very good either, but you're giving it a little top end and
that's it.
A little bit of mid, and you're pulling the bass out of the front end. That makes sense. And then later the stages are creating the gain, and then you're using the graphic EQ where you're radically changing the EQ.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the graphic, that amp sounds like utter crap.
Oh, yeah, it's really, really honky, isn't it? I mean, it's
just unusable. I think like that at that point.
Yeah, you've got to do all your tone shaping down.
That was a mod. Actually, that was a mod. You know how like you get asked to do, you know, we would all get emails or whatever, people asking, you know, can you do this to my amp? Can you do that to my amp? I actually had a guy email maybe last week, maybe the week before, and he's got a 2C or a 2C something Mark Series amp, no graphic.
Get a pedal and stick it in the loop.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, like I don't mind him emailing me. Cool, no worries, right? I'm happy to help in any way I can. But he's like, can you install the graphic for me? It's like, no. If you want that, you need to send that amplifier back to the United States, back to the factory, and see if they can do something about it. There's just no way.
You need a new faceplate on it, and like it's not so hard to make a graphic board and everything. You know, if you can make a PCB quickly, do it together, you know, like that, and then you've got it. But still, if you're only going to do that for one amp, like,
nah, man,
that's a lot of work. That's, again, R&D, like we were talking about before. You've got to do all that shit, like to mod one amp.
Yeah.
How much does that cost?
Oh, yeah, this is it, man. And I mean, I want to be spending my time on stuff like that where I can do like, you know, 10, 50, 100 of them, not one.
Yeah.
You should just go, yeah, I can do it, but it's going to cost $3,000.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You do it for $3,000 probably.
$3,000 US dollars. Yeah,
yes.
US.
Not Aussie.
£3,000 or it's not happening.
Correct. Yeah. All right. So
and then you still might regret it.
Even then, I'm like, nah, there's just no way. I could just tell, man, and I like respect to this guy because I could tell by the way he was describing this amplifier that he loves it.
Yeah,
he's had it for a long time, and it means something to him. So it would have to be nothing less than perfect if you were to
put the graphic in the loop. It's fine.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Do that.
Yeah, exactly. Other commonly used circuits for high gain. So Dan, you already mentioned the Wizard stuff based on Jubilee, and I think the Jubilee is probably a circuit that we should tackle on one of these one day.
Yeah.
Because it's so different, right? It's so different than the 2203 style thing. That
we should probably also at some point, and whether or not it's anyone's favorite or not, but maybe we tackle the other 800.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. I know Dave wants to.
Not the first one, because like
the first Dave's favorite, and that we'll do a special episode on the 2205 and the 900. We'll do that.
Yeah.
That's fucking fantastic. It's just like, can you mod those? Yes, I can, but I have to remove the entire board.
That'll be the day where Dave sends us a message and says, "Oh, I'm sick today. I can't make it."
Yeah. Rain check.
I mean, they got close with the SLX. You know, they had the right idea.
Yeah, the SLX is pretty decent.
SLX is a wicked amp. This is one amp I could play happily, stock straight out of the box. You know, this is a great thing.
A lot of times people ask me mod a 900 and I'm like, well, half of it's solid state. I can't, like, no.
Yeah, touch it.
Yeah, most people think just because there's 3 triodes in it, 3 preamp tubes in the high gain dual reverb, they think that those 3 tubes are actually doing tube jobs.
Yeah, it's
not. It's like I'm pretty sure it's a tube reverb, isn't it? And it's the phase inverter, I think, is tube, and then I think the other one is a return stage for the effects loop or something. It's like it's not doing anything for the preamp section. So yeah, it's basically a governor in a Marshall shackle.
I mean, like we've said before, I mean, like the Marshall JMP1 is mostly solid state too, but the JMP1 actually sounds good.
Yeah, they found a way a bit more of that point.
Those sounded great.
Yeah.
Which again, it just baffles me why that never wound up in a head.
Yeah. No clue.
I'm wondering now, because we're going to do this Pro Tube, right? And, how basically one of these versions is pretty much the 800 with the added gain stage up front, right?
No, one should be an 800 pretty much with no added gain stage.
Yeah, we're gonna we'll look quickly. We'll look quickly at the Series 1 and then go to the Series 2.
The Pro Tube lead or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering about the SLX, because isn't that what the SLX was too? Something like that.
SLX had some clipping.
SLX, no, SLX doesn't have clipping. You know the one you're thinking of? You're thinking of the other one that was.
There's like a Mark, isn't there like a 900 Mark II or Mark III or something?
Mark III. The Mark III
maybe,
is cool too, but then it has one clipper.
Yeah,
that's the one you're thinking of. It's an all tube preamp. It's 3 gain stages.
That's also an okay 900. Right?
That's also okay. It's just not kind of gainy enough to do what it was designed to do. I don't think. Like the SLX, I think, is where they like decided, okay, like this is supposed to be a bit more like a modded Marshall type thing.
Yeah.
Mark III is sort of like it's not quite.
Still had a bunch of solid state stuff at the end.
Yeah.
Well, now I want to look at it. Damn it.
The SLX, I just pulled it up.
We're gonna do. We'll do it.
Maybe we should take a peek.
We're gonna have to do a 900. We're gonna have to do a 900 show. It's gonna happen.
There's a load of solid state stuff like op amp stuff for the loop and after all the preamp. Yeah.
There's like a unity gain buffer that happens right after the EQ.
I always said that like Marshall must have bought like the world's supply of TLO 72s because they just used those op amps for everything in every amp. And I think they just wanted to use them up. Like, fuck it, we bought 50 million of them, so let's use them in every design.
It's really interesting how they also had for the master volumes that they were op amps.
Yeah, I know that to me is like brain dead, but yeah, I don't get the point in that at all. When they
is it a cold clipper cathode, Dave? Did that SLX have a cold clipper in it?
It's sort of. I'm looking at it right now. Schematic's a little hard to read.
It's got the wacky front end with a cathode follower as your input stage. That's what's worth chatting about.
Wow.
We should do this. We should do this one because there's some parallels to some other amps that have done.
All right, we'll do that another time.
Let's do that another episode.
Maybe we can draw it better, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I can do that. All right, I've just made a note on
that'd be a
good little thing here. Yeah. 900. We're gonna do a 900 show. Everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah, do the Mark III in the SLX. Fuck the high gain jewelry. No one likes it anyway.
We'll do 900 series, the good ones.
Yeah, minus the high gain jewelry.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's move on.
Where were we? We were saying about other commonly used circuits for.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna move to Laney now, aren't we?
Oh, let's just get through a couple of super chats.
Oh, okay.
We'll go okay. So I would, given these guys have put some money down.
Yeah, of course.
Let's get to them. What circuits? So Flash 84 again. What circuits are the Engls or Diezels based on?
Depends which model.
Diesel's kind of Marshall.
Yeah, kind of Marshally model and with other
cathode follower driven EQ, which we talked about just before. So
4 EQs.
Yeah, that's right.
Off one cathode follower.
Well, it shows you, right? It shows you how low impedance that cathode follower can just drive.
Yeah, but it drags it down. It drags it down for sure.
Yeah.
2 EQs you can get away with, but 4.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's part of the time.
Yeah, the angles, I think, again, like a little bit like some of the earlier angles, like the Engl straight and things like that. They have some similarities, like when you look at like the early Bogners and stuff, like the Snorkler era stuff. I kind of wonder if they were kind of eyeing up what
Who did it first in Germany.
Well, who did it first though? I think Engl might have done it first.
Might be. Could be Engl did it first. I don't know the timeline on this stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when was Bogner kind of hitting the USA? Like, when did he first?
Bogner first came to the USA around 88 or 89. So and he already had his little, when he used to mod Marshalls, he used to cut the front end circuit out of the Marshall, cut the board in half. So that just the power amp.
Yeah.
And just yank the board out, literally just saw it. And then he'd put his own preamp board in that had the sockets mounted on it and all the parts and everything. That you see pictures of it. It's a blue board.
The blue board,
and that came from Germany. That was his thing from Germany. So he was doing that plate fed tone stack. You know, when he was a kid, I guess he wasn't very old then when he came to here. You know,
he did mods on Fender amps too. I mean that Siegeborn, Johann Siegeborn or whatever that dude. He's got a YouTube channel of an really old mod that Bogner did on a Fender. It was a high gain, which was probably that circuit.
Yeah.
Didn't he mod some Voxes as well? Like
he had a few. There was, I remember his partner Jorg had a modified Vox that Reinhold did. AC30. I remember, and it sounded killer. And I remember distinctly that guitar with the Bill Lawrence pickup, the original one in it through that amp. I remember that distinctly.
Nice.
That was cool.
So that's that whole like Bogner era. That's like Snorkler era, right? That's kind of what he was
early
doing.
Bogner Snorkler era, but he abandoned it late. Really,
But this was like 4-gain stage plate fed, right?
Yep.
So what else at the time? What else was out there that was like 4 plates and 4 stages and plate fed?
Nothing
Jubilee.
really except Engl.
The Jubilee.
Jubilee. But this was like 1986, 87, wasn't it? Jubilee.
Yeah.
87, I think. So
It's
that's
kind of
still
around
87?
Yeah, but it still had the
time.
diodes, you know, and so it's a little different.
Yeah. I'm just trying to work out if there's any parallels anywhere because
I'm sure
it's just Engl.
Yeah.
Which I think came earlier.
So maybe there's parallels there where they both started out on
or maybe he copied the Engl originally and tweaked it to his own.
Could be either way.
The old who did it first.
Yeah, exactly. All the Germans had a real thing about chopping the preamp board off though in half. I mean, I had a Diezel modded Marshall on the bench years ago that I remodded because it was kind of been fucked with a little bit, you know, but it had been the same thing though, like, you know, board chopped in half right by the 2 HT resistors, you know, drop resistors, and then everything after was tack board.
Well, when you think about modding amps, right, it kind of makes sense if you could toss in a PCB and get rid of all that, you know, because, you know, the boards fall apart in your hands as you're modding them anyway.
Yep.
Especially especially like the first era PCBs, and then but even I was just modding one the other day, even the later JMPs. I mean, you start pulling caps out and putting them in, and well, that trace is gone. Okay, well, you know, no matter how careful you are, it happens.
Some of them are terrible, some of them are all right. It's weird, you just don't know what you're going to get with those things, right? But
well, you know, it's actually the same. So Shay, we were talking earlier about how you put the Unholy Grail PCB into an old Marshall. It's the same thing, right? Same concept.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It works, and it's a great way of doing it. Great way of modding.
Yeah.
Okay. Walrus, thanks, dude. I think this is just I know there's a question here. I need real amps. Modelers and computers are too annoying. I need knobs and switches. And what if modelers code as description only? Not good. You mentioned this last time, Shay. You mentioned
it's all at once.
Different colors.
You mentioned the subscription only. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. I think you're not going to get
100% agree with you, mate.
On this,
respect. Yeah, we all need to demand this in this world, you know.
Yeah,
gotta have the knobs, man.
I think there's another aspect about gear too, is that it's historically always been an asset. You know, it retains its value pretty well. The right stuff does, and you know, it's like when you collect it. I mean, you can only collect one quad Cortex. And you know, and then you know, eventually that will you know, be the quad Cortex Deluxe later, you know, and which will make those worth nothing. So like go find an Axe FX 1 and see how much it goes for. The first Axe FX, right?
Look at
does not go for much.
Yeah,
that concept that's just hilarious, Shay. So yeah, I haven't seen anyone post their wall of quad cortexes yet.
No.
I've been collecting them over the years, man.
I like my collection, man. I walk in the door and look at it and just go, yeah, I like that. You know, it's part of it. It's part of it.
Oh, dude, I know, man. I'm fucking
love that shit.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. Flesh 84 back again, $5. Thanks, man. Thoughts on ballparking the Rammstein tone? Tight compressed liquid without getting the Mesa.
Oh, I've got you there.
Is it a Mesa? Dual rectifier?
I mean,
I can do it without a Mesa.
Hell, they do it without Mesa now.
Yeah. Quad cortex.
No, the other guitar player, not Richard, the other one, was using a Sansamp.
Oh, there you go.
Pedal on the last tour for the whole rig.
Cool.
Wow. This is like the original quad cortex.
Yeah, I mean,
sounds just like the real thing, didn't they? Used to say in the advert.
You know, I think a lot of it has to do with the playing and the style. You know, that they play.
100%. If it fits the application and it sounds good in the mix, then so be it. You know?
I do know Richard used on one of the latter records used a BE50. So
cool.
Awesome.
He has one
with the mids on 0 for that chug.
I don't know, probably not, but so I mean, I think you can get it out of a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
There you go.
For sure.
Swifty Mix50 with a super chat, but no question. Oh, there is a question here. So thanks, man. Here's your question. He'd like a breakdown of the Orange OR/OD amps, particularly the Series 2. Yeah. Orange is something we should look at for sure.
We can do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
I'll put that on my list, man. Just give me a second.
I pretty much never end up with any of those on my bench. Ever.
Yeah, they don't get talked about a lot, do they?
I like modded OD amps.
I've only modded one.
The old OD amps are cool.
Yeah.
Rockerverb.
I think they probably cater to
old.
a particular genre.
Yeah. No, so the only one I've modded was a Rockerverb.
I had a Rockerverb through recently that I just had to retube for someone, and I actually never heard a Rockerverb, and I was like, "Hey, this sounds pretty good."
Sounds pretty good. I had a Rocker 30. Yeah. I had a Rocker 30 back in the day, and I thought it sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
I never played one.
They're not. I wouldn't call it a high gain amp. It's I think it's only. Is that 3-stage plate?
Yeah, but it's medium gain amp. Shall we? Well, I mean, it's plenty of gain, but
yeah, you got to crank it.
They sound good to mix too.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get on with these super chats. GT Guitar Works, $10. Thanks, man. And you have a question as well. Did Marshall, I'm assuming, steal the idea of the Jose diode clipping mod to make clipping circuit in the Silver Jubilee, with the exception of the LEDs? Interesting question.
Kind of a totally different thing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they took it from a Jose thing at all.
Kind of happened at the same time too, right? Like, would you know?
Well, here's actual fact. So when they first did the 900 series, and there really doesn't, looking at the schematics, there's not really the DNA in there, but they had a Jose that they were looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this because I remember when they first came out and some guy from Marshall was talking about this with us.
Wow.
When we sold that stuff at Making Music 1,000,000 decades ago. And,
because we first saw Marshall with they had that diode bridge in the 2205. Right? That was the first.
What's the other 900 called? The one, not the dual reverb, the other one, 900.
Mark III.
Mark III, is it?
Yeah, that's got a diode bridge in the preamp section. It's like, isn't it like after the second gain stage or something? It's
2100. Is that the 2100 model?
It could be 2100. I'm not sure. But it's got a diode bridge in there.
The 4100 is the dual reverb.
Yeah, that one's got a diode bridge. I think. Am I wrong in thinking that the 2210 doesn't have a diode bridge, but it has a diode on the cathode of one of the gain stages instead of a resistor? It's got a diode instead of a cathode resistor. I
think look where so we have to go and look at these, right? Maybe it's why I go back to the thing of why we should look at the 2205 and all that kind of era. But I remember working on one of those, and I'm sure it had a diode bridge in it.
Might have. Yeah,
because I pulled it out. I remember that was one of the things I did.
Yeah, it has 2 gain stages, then a diode bridge, and then a cathode follower.
So it's like after the second stage in that 900, it's got that diode bridge. Yeah, it's I mean it works in that design. It's not
I mean the idea could have came from pedal too.
So I don't know. So the answer to the question, are we saying that Marshall probably did some clipping independently, because it wasn't that they didn't do it in the same way that Jose did it?
No.
Yeah.
The way they went about it was different, and it's also it's asymmetrical, isn't it?
Yeah, and they probably got the idea more off like what was happening in the pedal world.
That's what I said.
And like, didn't Jose probably get that idea from like, old boost pedals and things? Like, you look at like the MXR distortion plus, you got the diode clip with the 10K and the 0.2.
I mean, his thing was a little bit more like a limiter, really. Thing,
I mean, but the sort of the logic, it looks like it was kind of lifted from somewhere. It looks like it was lifted from a pedal, maybe. Yeah. The idea, you can see literally the same values in a distortion bus. So it's kind of the concept is sort of there, even if it's implemented kind of differently to work different ways. But I guess they probably all got the idea from, okay, people like distortion pedals in front. Maybe we find a way to clip the signal at the end. But I don't know. Yeah, the tube is a little bit different with the LED clipping, because it's not the only clipping that's happening in that circuit, right?
No.
There's also there's diode clipping as well as LEDs in the tube. So you've got the pull input clip thing, and so there's a variety of clipping shit going on.
And we've got Michael. Hey, Mike.
What's up, man?
Hey.
Mike's question is, in the JMP1, which Dave, you were just talking about before, right? How tube is it? I've heard people say it's mostly
solid state.
Mm-hmm.
Almost completely.
Yeah.
But it sounds great. So I don't know if it matters. It does sound really good if you set the EQs a certain way.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Most of the EQs stay pretty much flat. Because when you start boosting or cutting on the EQs, it sounds too much like like you're cutting on a graphic or cutting, like it sounds too digital.
Are the EQs? Are they?
You can boost the low end a little bit, but the mid and the treble almost needs to be kind of flat. And then I can't remember where I used to set it. And there's a presence also. Maybe I set that a little higher, but I think the mid and treble were around noon, half-ish, because it's cuts or boosts. That's why it gets weird.
It's a bit like with the ADA, right? If you push that thing a bit too much in one direction or the other, it starts to sound really weird and too harsh. Like,
they're very different. They're very different EQs, aren't they? Like they're not a passive tone stack like you'll see in a cathode-driven follow Marshall.
No, it's active.
They're op-amp filters.
Like, and it's boost and cut. Because it's negative or positive.
This is it. But that's another circuit. So we've definitely had requests to.
It's really good sounding, though. I mean, you can get a wicked sound out of it.
Definitely worth looking at. All right. So
let's pop only in OD1 mode, though.
31. Okay.
OD2 mode is like
years since I played one.
Yeah. OD2 mode, no, and the shift, no. EQ shift thing, but that goes for ladder amps. They did too. The EQ shift in the DSL and stuff is like no.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit too scoopy.
Okay, let's see what we
The
got.
Laney Pro Tube. So
Pro Tube lead. Yep, this is the amp I had.
This is the amp I had too, man.
Okay, so this is probably there's a date 83 on the bottom there.
I had this amp.
No, this was 2012. Whoever drew this, but
so
I had this was my very first tube head that I ever bought with my own money, and I wish I still had mine too, Dave.
I keep looking around, but the Pro Tube leads are kind of hard to find.
Really hard.
Yeah, they're going a little bit more money if they do pop up as well, because people kind of know what they are now.
I mean, but it's an 800.
Yeah.
Is it ever?
I mean,
is it ever?
It's exactly an 800, isn't it? It's hard for me to see the schematic, but.
So here's the question. So I was trying to remember my one, right? Because I had this thing, and then
1983.
I ended up getting an ADA MP1. This is the early. I would have been around about 1990, somewhere around there, and I would run my ADA MP1 into this head because that's all I had, right?
Into the front.
Well, that's what I couldn't
or the
remember.
low
I was
input.
thinking, they didn't have an effects loop, did they?
You know, I think it did. I think it had an insert point, if I recall.
I know that
it doesn't show it here.
I know the AOR ones had an insert loop.
Yeah, but I had the original 6-knobber. Like
AOR actually had a proper effects loop with a op amp.
Yeah, they had both. They had like a real one and a passive one. But yeah, I don't know if this one had a loop. Maybe
you get that a little bit big. Oh yeah, that's better.
Yeah. So in this, there's no loop in the schematic, but I just couldn't. I couldn't remember where the amp had it or not. So
I just looked this up. This was released in 1982.
Yeah,
Pro Tube lead.
So this is pretty much instantly after the 800s came out, because the 800 was 81, right? So I know.
Well,
yeah.
Well, you've obviously got the JMP.
76. Yeah, 76 was the master volume circuit, but yeah.
But if you look at this, right, I mean, maybe not trace this through resistor by resistor, but if anyone who's looking at this thing and can read a schematic will recognize that this whole thing is just
exactly an 800.
Man, this is like, it's like it's so much the same. It's
exactly the same, isn't it?
There's only like a couple of things I can spot that aren't dead nuts on.
I can't see it all.
I haven't seen anything that's different so far.
It's only the screen resistors on the power tubes. That's the only thing different.
Oh well, okay, we haven't got that.
This isn't really going to change the
preamp is verbatim.
Okay, the preamp is verbatim the same. The only thing that I noticed when I brought this up yesterday was that I looked at the B plus and I went, "Oh, this is one of like the low voltage 2204s."
230 of.
It's pretty low, isn't it?
380 volts.
Yeah. Okay. 380 is quite low now.
That's like the low voltage. You know the low voltage 2204s, right? Like the
but
7
this is the
JMPs,
50, right?
Yeah, this is the 50.
So the 100, I'm assuming, probably did have the 450 volt.
Probably they probably copied it verbatim.
Yeah,
probably dead nuts on.
Which makes me think that they, given the release date of this, that they probably use JMPs as the blueprint for these amps.
Yeah.
So screen grid resistors are 470 ohm. Is that?
Yeah, 470s.
That's interesting with EL34s.
Yeah, it's like the
not recommended.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is though,
I guess running at these voltages.
Yeah, maybe it's the voltage.
Actually, at these voltages, it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah, true. And also, the ones they would have cloned wouldn't have had any screen grid resistors. You know, those 50 watts, those
probably.
low voltage ones, many of them
Yeah.
didn't even have like the 1Ks or anything at all. So,
yeah,
you know, straight up and no, usually didn't have the 5K6s either on some of those 50 watts.
that's
Most
right.
of them usually didn't have the grid resistors, you know, the 5K6s. So this is
so this is an 800.
Yeah, this is more like an 800. It's got the little upgrades that you see on the 800s rather than the JMPs.
I mean, more like it. I mean, it's exactly.
It's dead. It's damn near dead nuts. I mean,
yeah, the presence is
the negative feedback, 100K off the 4 ohm.
Yeah, no, it's exactly the same.
Nuts on, right?
Yeah,
the 470s are the only difference.
Call it what it is.
Yeah.
Now, did this amp have? It's not written in here. I can't remember whether my one had, like, some of them had the pull shift or like a pull
later one
on the EQ.
Later.
That was the next model had it.
The next model, yeah.
This one didn't have any push pulls, no nothing.
Okay.
As far as I know,
they copied an 800.
Yeah,
they're copying what Marshall was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up.
I mean, there's nothing. There is literally not one thing.
There's nothing to talk about. It's what it is.
No,
that's the show, guys.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
Thanks for coming. All right, let's go and have a look at the Series 2. That's when things get way more interesting, right? So we just want like the baseline for anyone who's
by the way,
curious.
There is double the amount of diodes on the rectifier, but that's not doing
that's
shit.
True,
right?
man.
I mean, it's just basically doubling up the handling of the diodes.
Yeah.
So
okay. The second thing that's slightly different.
Well, if you look at
that
this too, if you look at the way this is drawn, those diodes, it's a full bridge rectifier, like it's in 100 watt, not the 50.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's different.
I'm not sure if that's actually true though from the ones.
Yeah, I know what you mean. This might actually be drawn incorrectly.
I think they've drawn that like 100, thinking that it's the same on a 50. I don't think it is. I think the last few I worked on were
just
truly
normal. Yeah, normal two-phase rectification.
Yeah, exactly.
That you'd see in a 50 watt. Yeah,
I think I you know, I don't want to say for sure, but I'm 90% sure. So yeah.
All right.
So wasn't there okay? So in the next series of amps, wasn't there an AOR and then there was an AOR Series 2?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Wasn't the AOR the first one?
The AOR was the first one.
I think the differences between them are quite minimal, but I think that extra gain stage has got a couple of different values on it. I think. Give me 2 secs. Let me see if I can dig it up because I have a feeling that on my.
So in my
hunting
around,
I'll be right back.
In my hunting around yesterday to try and find the best schematics and so on, I saw a bunch of pictures of 6 knob amps.
Yeah.
That were branded AOR that had the pull EQ shift functions.
Right.
But I'm assuming that
that's the 2.
Right. There are
now this is the 6 knobs. The Series 2 is the 8 knob amp, isn't it?
Right. So I've got 2 schematics, right? I've got the Series 2 and I've also got one schematic that isn't labeled as Series 2, but it's the one with all the push pulls. And it has a completely different value of coupling cap in the first gain stage. You know, the extra tube, it's different. It's not the big coupling cap. It's a small coupling cap. It's different.
Is that the 6 knob amp or the 8 knob?
This is the 8 knob. But I think it's the very first 8 knob one they made. And yeah, it's got the 2 preamp gain controls. And they are done slightly differently. The values are different.
This is the one that.
But I can, you know, it's it uses the same amount of components and everything. Like the whole design is similar, but it's just there's a couple of voicing differences between the 2.
Yeah.
Well, this is 89. This is later.
Yeah.
This was later. Yeah, you wanted the other one.
And then the one I've got, the other one I've got is from 85. That's they call it the AOR 50/12 circuit. And this,
do you want to share that up on the screen, Dan? You should be able to do that from because the only one I've got is this one here.
Right. Let me see if I can do this because I have no idea.
Pull this down.
How do you share the?
You could probably drop a link in the private chat too. I don't know if that'll work.
Right, hang on. Maybe I can share the screen here.
Or you can send me the thing and I'll fuck it up here.
Hang on. Can I share an image file? Right, hang on. Maybe I can do this. Hang on. Let me see.
Oh yeah, share screen. There's a little thing at the bottom.
Yeah, it's a plus button at the bottom.
Have I done it? I think I've just attached a file.
Yeah, you have. No, you've. Oh yeah. Well, you can add that. We can add that. Let's see.
Okay. Right. Crack that one open. This is the first one that I'm aware of. That's the earliest AOR circuit.
Okay.
So this is different to the Series 2 circuit in the sense that you can see where they've circled with the red circle up front. Just above that, you've got a different plate cap, also a different cathode cap, and there might be a couple of other differences throughout. But I think this is the first one they did that was the AOR.
Yeah.
This is the first thing that had the push pulls and the extra gain circuit.
So if we look at this, Dan, it's like, just for the people trying to get orientated around this, it's what? Yeah. It's a JCM 800 with an extra gain stage in the front?
Pretty much, yeah. So if you look at the point where you've got the cathode follower circuit, which is what is this V? I can't read that.
Can you zoom in at all?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Can we zoom in a little bit?
Do you have control, Jason, of that?
No.
Okay. So, right. So
it does have an extra filtering stage too, so it doesn't share the added up front. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's the extra gain stage has got its own decoupling. Yeah. And but if you look at it, if you eliminate the very first gain stage, we're talking pretty much more or less a slight variation on what was in the previous one. It's kind of there mostly.
We really need to zoom in on this, don't we?
Yeah, I know it sucks.
So let me. I'll see if I can. Can I? Someone needs this. If someone can send me this file, like even on Messenger or something like that, I will then share it into the.
It's not so easy for me to do it for the minute because
you're on your.
I'm using my phone as the.
Let me see what I can find. What is that called again?
So that file there is AOR 50. So I don't know if it's.
Hang on. I'll find it.
AOR 50. No, that's a Series 2.
I think I found it. It's on Schematic Heaven.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Hang on. I got to download it, though.
That I'm pretty sure this is the first one in the lineup where they started to hot rod them. And so the Series 2, I think, was then their kind of attempt to like upgrading that and making it a bit more modern at the time, probably more bass, more squish. Players were playing them.
Here's a good question. What the hell is AOR mean?
Oh, it does. It's advanced overdrive response.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah.
What's VTM mean? We never asked that. Never talked about that.
Vacuum tube modification, isn't it? Or something like that, or modification.
Right, vacuum tube modified, I think, wasn't it?
Vacuum tube modified, that's the one. Yeah.
No, vintage tube modified.
Oh, is it? Is it vintage tube?
So.
I sent it to you on our group chat on Messenger.
Okay.
At least I think I did. It seemed like it did.
I got it. Yeah, you did.
Great stuff.
Okay, so let me download that.
I see a few other people have said in the chat that they're 100 heads had an insert loop, and the later version had the full loop. Probably the this like, if we assume this one we're going to look at is, we'll call it Series 1.
Yeah.
Not Series 1, but it's just the first AR model.
The first AOR, yeah.
Yeah, like it probably it's got kind of like it's not an insert loop, but it does have a buffer.
Yeah, we can see it well enough.
Zoom in a little more.
Yeah, a little bit more, Jason.
A little bit more.
Yeah. So
that's okay.
All right.
Yeah. So
wrong way.
They definitely steered away from the 800 thing a little bit in this.
So I always said, if you looked at this, this was sort of like the precursor. I think Laney was sort of the precursor to what we all have wound up doing with modded amps. Because if you look at this first gain stage,
the 100K.
I mean, okay, well, it's 100K, but okay, but let's look at after that.
No, the pot, the 100K to ground.
Yeah, you have 100K to ground, 100K in series.
Yeah.
Those values are kind of similar to Jose values.
Absolutely.
Except it's kind of got a big C2 is a big cap. Yeah. If you change in this amp, if you just change C2 to a small cap, it gets infinitely better.
Yeah, 100%.
And also, I mean, what is this actual? Does that say the actual voltage on the?
So this note up here, you can see 240 on the.
But what's the
178?
Yeah,
178. So that's lower.
Yeah, it's closer to a Jose.
A little bit less, would have been, 140, 150, somewhere in there, but close enough. They use the 68K input grid resistor, which is from an 800, right? But if you just look at that, it's 2.7K stages and 0.68s and all this stuff. I mean, they didn't copy from Jose. This was just what they came up with. And then, often we use a 22 nanofarad after the second stage. Often, I mean, in a lot of the amps, I do. Which it is. And then it goes to another gain pot.
Yeah.
This is very much
you see on
kind
this,
of the Jose 2 gain pot thing.
This second gain stage here, no grid stopper.
No.
Which is interesting. Straight in.
That's Jose.
Yeah. That's quite common for the time, like it's interesting. You don't see so many grid stoppers between stages in a lot of older amps and older designs, and especially older mods. There's a lot of amps that didn't really do much with grid stoppers there. And I think in this one, it's probably not such an issue because, I mean, they bypassed the first cathode with a 47 microfarad, which is massive. So it's kind of like a flat response, kind of like a boost at that point.
Yeah.
But still, it's a fat stage, but they tried to load the stage down with the 100Ks. So they're essentially tapering the gain and the bass off with the 100K pot. So, I mean, that does go a long way. The 100K pot will definitely go a long way to tightening it up.
Yeah.
If you'd have done the same thing with a 1 meg, you'd just have flub, everywhere.
Yeah. It's still a little flubby, but
it's still got some flub there. But I mean, with a couple of really minimal changes there, you could definitely.
So, if you look at this basically with these 2 stages up into the second gain pot, I mean, that's verbatim what a lot of us do.
The grid's being switched around is kind of interesting. Usually the
that's right.
Comes into,
normally there'd be no grid stopper.
Well, let's think that 10K stage is not there for a second. So if that 10K stage wasn't there, you would basically be at a Jose style / BE style circuit.
Yeah.
Almost verbatim, except for the tighter front end and later, like what we've done. So the 10K is just getting added in here.
And the 10K sort of works in a way, like a lot of those amps. It's like, you get a little bit of gain, but not too much. It's like, it gives a bit of that tonal voicing, that crunch, that kind of bit more crispy top end and everything, but generally it's like it's kind of controlling it, stopping it from going out of control.
Yeah. R13's a little different too. So we got 470 the gain pot, or no, that's the I'm sorry,
that's a mixer.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's a mixed mixer. The voltage dividers. So I mean that's
normal. Yeah, it's normal.
Straight up. I mean 800 style there. And then on this stage here, that's coupled to the cathode follower, right? No bypass cap on that 820, so that's 800.
That's classic
for sure.
Then it's where it gets a little bit
weirder,
interesting. Yeah, because like some of the stuff is not as complex as it looks, but right off the bat, I mean you're not feeding the tone stack with a straight connection to the cathode, which is
they got this decoupling cap here, right?
Yeah,
so they got a DC blocking cap here, which you wouldn't normally see. You'd see that kind of thing if you're getting set up for a Jose style diodes, right? So I wonder why they added that.
Doesn't look like it's needed, even with
I know exactly. Well, hang on, which parts are switchable? Because it's probably because they don't want any voltages on the switching circuit. But then, hang on,
no, the mid boost is
they've already got
all of these caps here are going to isolate those switches from DC, aren't they? So
then it's a tone.
So what have we got that's switchable? We've got the mid boost and
so that's putting a 22. Is that putting a 22 in parallel with the 470?
It's insane. It's
that's
really
insane.
That's pretty wild.
It's useless.
Yeah, switch that thing out for like another 470 or a 220 or a 100.
Exactly.
That's pretty crazy.
That's the first mod you would do, other than the cap on the input gain stage to slim it out a little bit.
That's pretty crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, and
you could fix that easy.
There,
that's an easy fix.
Yeah, you got 22. They went with an audio taper mid pot instead of a linear. That's slightly different. But I mean, you see that also.
Well, you see that in old Marshalls.
Yeah, exactly. Like the ones the hand wired, they copy that from the Plexi era, when they did the same thing. So, it's
the EQ is standard Marshall.
Yep.
Yeah, then it gets a little bit interesting again.
Then it gets pretty crazy.
Yeah, what the hell's going on here?
Come off the treble wiper here.
Well, then you basically get a buffer stage, kind of.
Yeah,
that's got some negative feedback.
It's got some negative feedback.
Yeah, you got some feedback in there.
So if anyone's following along, right, you see off the treble wiper here, we're going through this 10 nanofarad cap, 1 meg resistor to the grid of this stage. Lots of 1 meg voltage divider, isn't it? Actually, into the grid of this stage, and then off the plate, the output, we've got some stuff happening over here, which we'll talk about in a second. But C12 is coupling off that, and through the stream med 3 is back to the grid again. So this is local negative feedback.
Yeah, that's
just be cooling, just cooling that stage out of it,
Yeah, you're gonna get a little bit of the high end fizz. Yeah, some of the fizz is gonna, get under control.
R19 isn't R19 and R21 just like a fixed voltage divider here?
Yeah,
coming out of the treble pot.
Exactly. Yeah, that's your.
But it's because of the feedback, that stage. I don't think I haven't measured it ever, but it doesn't have a lot of gain to it.
No, I don't think it's
more like a buffer stage.
More like a buffer stage. Yeah.
And I think that has to do with what it's driving.
Yeah.
Which is, let's have a look at that. So what is going on here?
So this is interesting. So you've got the you've got two push pulls. You've got a top boost, which is I think a push pull on the treble, and you've got a push pull on the bass control. And essentially the pull bass boost is activating essentially a frequency shunt to ground, which when
where's that going? That 470 all the way down.
That's just to activate the what is it? Is it a H11F? That's
okay.
Is it or is it?
No, I know. I think
it's just straight to the pot. I think it's not even
I think it's
activating these guys, right?
It's just activating the gate of the it's activating the gate of the transistor, and you're basically kicking in a massive big high frequency shunt to ground. I mean, it's a 220N going to the ground at that point. So I mean, you can imagine how massive that is. The thing is, it gives you the impression of fuck tons of bass. I mean, we're talking Diezel levels of bass.
Yeah,
but
useless.
It's useless because the thing is, you can't really adjust it. And the other thing is, it kills all your top end.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a nice idea, you know, we'll get all the big bottom end, but it's a terrible way to go about it.
And then you have the top boost, which is a cap across the master volume pot, so to speak.
Yeah. You just got exactly. I mean, you don't really need that 22K that's limiting it, right? I mean, it's not really doing much. 22K limit in a bright cap, not really.
Yeah,
it's minimal. So it's as if you've just got a straight 1,000 puff cap across the volume control there,
which also sounds like shit.
Yeah, it's not good. But maybe the answer is that might have been put in there for when you pull that bass boost.
I was going to
that might be. It might be that you really need to run both of them at the same time. But I don't remember it sounding good.
I almost want to get one of these amps just to hear it again.
I worked on one about 2 years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago. You know what? Realistically, it's probably like 5 years ago. But anyway, I worked on one and ended up rebuilding it, doing it more like my kind of thing. You know, completely different preamp. But I played around with it in stock form for a bit just to kind of see, because I was just so familiar with seeing these things on people's backlines, you know, from the 80s era, and you know, I wanted to experiment with it a bit, but. So like trying it out and testing things like the bass boost, the top boost, and some of those things, and the mid boost. The ideas were cool. Just the values they used. If they just used the right values, it would have been brilliant.
Yeah, it would have been great. And what if you took out this whole stage, right? What if you just came off the EQ and went to a 1 meg master and then hit the loop? You know,
you could even just still go in the loop the same way.
Leave the mid boost, but with the better value. Leave that, but take out all this other bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Like some of these amps have got loops beyond this point. Some of them don't have loops.
Well, so this one, I just want to actually give a call out to in the chat here, Dick's amps. He's obviously worked on a bunch of these, so you got a bunch of comments in here about these Laney. So obviously know a thing or two about them. So what happens with going into an op-amp driven
buffer stage, which is great. I mean, that's going to work well.
That's all cool.
Yeah. It's a
and then we got a reverb. So these had a spring reverb built into the head.
Yeah, your reverb's in parallel with the main loop signal path, right? So kind of typical.
Well, it's after.
Right, so send and return.
It's after. Yeah, true. It's after. It's not parallel. Yeah.
It's after the effects loop, right? So this series effects loop.
Yeah, sorry, it's in series right after the loop. So
I mean, the loop is a good loop. It's proper. It's like it does it's properly buffered. It's a hell of a lot better than some early,
for the time frame. I mean,
it's a proper buffered loop. Like it's not a insert loop or any rubbish like that. So it's all good
for that era. I mean, if you consider all the other amps that had loops, they were terrible.
Yeah, no, this was good by all other comparisons.
Yeah, it's way ahead of its time.
Is there a way of switching this reverb in or out, or do you just have to set it?
No, maybe I don't.
I set it on.
Just is it? No file.
It's basically a parallel mix, right?
The other op amp return stage there is doing it's a virtual summing amp there, and it's
Okay, so there I was saying before about
right here, Dave.
Parallel, the
virtual summing amp, like that's a
you can see them come right. So this is coming from the return stage. So we've got a blocking cap here through that 39K into this op amp, and then this reverb. And here's your reverb level, which you're mixing back in.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
It's
So you
proper.
still got a little dry path, which is
I mean,
nice.
it's a proper way to do things.
Yeah. You can't argue with any of that.
They did a
so
good job.
It even says the other nice thing on here, like in the schematic, right? It's letting you know that you could expect 1.7 volts AC signal. Yeah, at this point. So it's a pretty handy schematic, right?
They have the best schematics and the best documentation of their amps ever.
Oh yeah, even the ladder amps, like the VH4 amp and stuff, unbelievable service manual, like beautiful.
Every last little detail, like, written. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
you got to love that.
One is really, really well documented,
and the schematics are easy to read.
Yeah,
they're all written nicely. They're beautiful.
Someone actually sat and drew this out by hand.
I know, this is all hand.
Brilliant.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Back in
then we're back to a standard Marshall phase inverter.
Yep. So
320 volts at the 320 odd some volts at the phase inverter there.
Still got the 470 screens on there.
Yeah. That seems to be a thing that just stayed with their amps for a while. I don't even know if they changed.
Did they use 6L6s?
They used 34s in all these times I saw them.
Later they used 6L6s.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so probably they got to the same situation Marshall did, where they couldn't get good 34s.
Yeah.
About 89.
Is it a 5-watt resistor? Oh yeah, it's a 5-watt.
Yeah. So you got 395 volts on the screens at the tube socket there, and then
go to the right just a little bit, Jason.
Well, it's still kind of low.
Yes, it is a little bit low, but then this is also a 50, isn't it?
Oh yeah, this is 50. This is still the low thing. Yeah.
I think when we go to the 100, which is on the Series 2 schematic, I think we're going to see the voltages go up.
This is 400.
Yeah,
dead on 400 volt.
This is like
this is basically where the other amp came from.
Yeah,
with the mods.
Yep, still bridged. 50,
the way this presence prod is drawn, there's still DC on that pot.
That's the classic.
No, it isn't.
That's the 800.
Look closer.
Yeah, you've got the 100 in the ground leg, the 100 end. So it's a
standard 800.
Yeah, that's your 800 pot.
No, I see what you're saying, Jason.
No, but it's not a standard 800 pot.
Yeah, it's not the later 800 pot where they put the cap before the pot.
They put the cap before the pot.
Yeah,
but this is the standard 800 for later, which was the cap after the pot.
Yeah. This is like your standard.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, there's no DC.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it doesn't scratch or anything when you're using it, which is cool. The taper's kind of iffy on it, like still, like they always were.
They always were.
Yeah,
they needed to use a reverse audio taper.
Yeah, you just without looking at it. Do you know what I mean? You have to kind of like look away and listen as you turn it. Otherwise, it kind of freaks your eyes out when you've got the presence like nearly on 10.
Yeah, well, it's normal 800.
Yeah. So
what else we got going on?
That's it.
That's pretty much like with this amp is the majority of it.
The filtering is all stock 50 watt.
Yeah. And you got the same deal with the double amount of the rectifier diodes. There's double the amount, as they always did. They just overbuilt the thing. So that's there. And
okay, but what's interesting about this again is that those diodes are set. That's a full bridge.
That's a full bridge on that. So I'm wondering, maybe they just standardized. Yeah, maybe
their PT secondaries across the two of them.
Perhaps using the 100. Yeah, using the 100 watts for the 50 watts.
100 watt style. Yep.
Sounds like they might have done.
Which is cool.
Tapped off the same supply as the bias. You've got the feed for the transistors that do the bass boost. So you've got your negative supply there. It's really, really basic. It's exactly the same kind of. It's like the first half of the filtering for the bias supply.
Oh yeah, so here off this orange tap here. Yeah, sorry Dan, I was just trying to find it. So you've got you can set up here for the bias voltage, but off that same tab.
Sorry, it's not negative, it's positive. That's what I'm trying to say.
Positive, because the diodes are flicked the other way.
Yeah, it's positive. So you've got a big old 5
watt resistor here to wash off a bit of heat.
Yeah, that thing gets hot. That thing is running hot, like that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's a cement.
It's pretty interesting actually.
It's a wire wound, and then you've got about how many volts are we talking there? Is it 17? 17 volts.
Well, I think this is saying what is it saying? It's
because it will shift when it's engaged.
So 27 to 17.
Yeah, I mean it's going to shift a little bit when you engage the switch. So
exactly,
depending on how you've got it set, you've got I think you've got a 470k resistor in line with that after somewhere along its travels. But no, hang on, I'm wrong. I fucked up there. That's not the bass boost is triggered off the negative supply. I was right. Yeah, the bass boost one is off the negative DC.
That's for the Vactral.
Yeah, it's the Vactral that wants the positive
supply.
The Vactral wants it. Because I think they use the Vactral on this one, and then they moved over to the next schematic. You'll see the H11.
That Vactral is like a lead master.
Yeah.
Right there, hooking up to that other master.
Oh, look, you know what it's doing? Yeah. See this volume, this pot here.
Yeah, it's a lead master.
22k off the ground.
Yeah, you got the ground leg. Just literally.
No, that's not on that. That's just grounding that pot leg.
Yeah, it's just literally engaging the pot, putting the ground leg in and out. But yeah, your bass boost is just is off the negative supply.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It just brings that pot in and out, basically, doesn't it?
Yeah, because also that Vactral's connected to the other one that does the front end, the lead boost, the boosting. So yeah, a couple of little things, just basic filtering essentially, for both of those supplies. Cool. Just a resistor and a cap. Not much more than that.
No.
Back in sync.
You got anything else, Jason?
I think that what came to mind here was if you look at the Lee Jackson Ampeg amp, it's very much this amp, which is sort of interesting. Right. I mean, I haven't looked at that comparison in a while, but it just dawned on me. I'm just like going, wait a minute, I think it's the same thing.
Did we look that up one time or no?
I literally think it's the same thing or very close. It has the 800 stage and it has the gain stage in front. God, now I got to look it up.
It has
the VL something?
It has a gain stage after the EQ. Does it though? Like this one does?
No, not the. What is it? Ampeg VL something?
Not the Ampeg one.
VL. Oh God, what is it? Which one is it? Is it VL503? No, that's not it. VL something. Ampeg. Hang on. Ampeg Lee Jackson.
VL1002.
Ah, that's it.
1989. Dave's talking about the Lee Jackson Ampeg.
Oh yeah. There's some parallel here for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was.
There's definitely some parallels there. Sure.
I mean, like big time power amp.
Well, the topology is really similar. The finer details are slightly different, but the kind of the logic is really similar in the thought behind both designs. The whole idea of having this whole buffer stage after the tone stack. I mean, obviously that's the Lee thing, right? As well.
Yeah.
Doing that thing, which I think was the Rivera thing early on.
Yeah, but what I was saying was like the whole front end was
similar. Yeah.
Hang on, I'm pulling it up.
I've worked on one of those VL502 twos, I think.
Jason, schematic heaven has.
Here's the preamp. Yeah, so it's a gain stage. It's a little different, but it's the same cathodes and the same plate resistors. It's a gain stage, slightly different value preamp gain on the first thing, going into a second stage, and then it comes out of that second stage, has another gain pot, goes into the 10K stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it is like very much.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Which schematic are you guys?
VL-1002.
Yep, on schematicheaven.net.
Yeah,
I mean it's the same.
It's the same.
It's
a couple parts different.
The only real things that like were done differently is like the stage after the tone stack is a bit different. If they did he do it on that one though?
No, he didn't do it on that one.
That's the Metaltronics thing that has that. Yeah, the VL doesn't have it. The VL has the extra gain up front.
There we go.
Not later. Yeah, true. Yeah, it is really similar.
Very similar.
He did exactly though the couple of tweaks you said about straight up at the beginning of the first stage. You know, the 2200.
He did do the 0022. Yeah. He did do that tweak, although he's got a 1 meg right after it, so 1 meg pot, which isn't quite.
Yeah, but he's got the 0.68 cathode cap on it, which is better than the Laney thing, you know, where it's got the 47 UF, the fat boy cap thing, you know. So it's like going beyond that point, then. Yeah, it's slightly different between the second and third stages because
a little bit,
slightly different, but it's not hugely different.
No,
you could easily make them sound the same in the room.
So now, judging from the era when this was made, I would say Lee Jackson got some ideas from Laney
for sure.
I would verbatim say that.
Yeah, he's got more going on like after the tone stack for the loop because
you got to look at the other schematic that's the power amp schematic.
Yeah, he's got the tube stage in there.
Does he?
Which there's that tube stage in there that's got that's.
Can you pull up the other schematic, Jason? The power amp.
Here's one.
There's one that's for the board, for the loop board. There's two or three.
Loop board's an op amp.
Yeah, it's an op amp.
Oh, you missed it. P8. It had an audio pot for a treble in the tone stack.
Oh yeah. Bro. Yeah. Good point.
Go ahead.
Well, the power amp's normal.
Yeah, the power section's pretty similar. But there's kind of an unnecessary tube stage though.
I don't think there is in the Ampeg.
Yeah, there is. It's
on the effects loop, Jason.
But it's kind of pointless. It's not really doing anything because I think it's on after the effects loop output. If you look at like
that's it. That's the whole amp right there.
Yeah, that's there. But there's another stage. We just saw it on the other schematic.
The first one, the preamp schematic. Then
yeah, if you look at the first schematic we had up, the bigger one that's got all the main stuff on it, right on the top right corner, right after the mid shift.
This guy here.
There's that tube, and that's
wait a minute.
It's weird because the schematic is kind of awkwardly drawn.
What is it? What is that?
I think it's being used as like as a loop send before doing a.
No, because if you trace the master, it's going up and straight out to the preamp. Is it coming back in after the loop then?
It's a really, really weird schematic.
It's coming back in after the loop.
Yeah.
I think.
Exactly.
So if you this is
maybe.
Yeah, the loop out goes
drawn weird, isn't it? Yeah.
It's drawn
effects
weird.
Loop in.
Yeah, when I worked on it,
Effects
it
loop
actually didn't trace
out.
correctly.
This doesn't look like, it doesn't make sense to me. That.
Okay, so that's to the effects loop.
If you look at J11, I think 6 and 7 pins where it says effects loop out and effects loop in, I actually think that they're the wrong way round.
God, it's got an audio mid pot too.
Yeah, that was real common in old Marshalls and things.
I can't remember. Yeah, I just remembered it was kind of a pointless stage. Like, at least it seemed that way because it wasn't really doing much. Because you already had the recovery stage in the loop. You don't really need a tube to recover that. Unless it was just for some tube flavor, mojo. You know, I don't know. But
I think it goes in and out, so somehow it comes after. I mean, I think the master goes to the loop and then the loop comes back.
Yeah,
the master pre-loop 100%.
Oh wait, this makes sense actually, because if you look, can you go back to the loop schematic?
Yep.
Can you zoom in on the return stage of the loop?
Go to the right. There you
go. So the question is, how much gain does this return loop stage have? So the other stage is a 10K stage. It's not that much gain, and it's kind of, if this isn't, let's see, so we got 10K. I'm trying to just look at what the gain is of this stage. Depends on how, so there's level switches for the return. It's recovery gain.
Yeah.
That other stage.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. It's just recovery gain.
You can only do so much with the op amp.
Yeah.
Because it's just a recovery gain stage. It's pretty cool too. It's a 10K, so on a cathode.
Yeah.
You want to go? We'll go back to that. So that's the
let's go back to the main one. And you've got that return stage. You've got 1.5K cathode, and
it's 1.5K.
Yeah, and the plate is.
This is his typical. That was his typical Lee Jackson's typical return.
Yeah,
kind of typical return stage. I mean, it's decoupled.
It's usually after his master volume in the gain mods, right?
Well, but also this is sort of like the loop return, his tube loop return, similar.
Because
no bypass cap, but
the plate cap's being taken between the two plate resistors, so it's less gain.
That one's doing that much, really.
No, that's what I mean. It's kind of.
He might need more return gain than that.
Well, I think you're right, Dave. If you look at you look at that op amp, I mean, it is running on plus minus 15 volt rails, but he maybe just want to push it a little bit harder before the next.
Could he not just put another op amp in there though? Like,
well, you can, but it's that doesn't sound that great. You know, the later Sir loops and Sir amps, he would do an op amp loop with the send and return, but he'd then go into a tube stage exactly the same way. Yeah, and to give more makeup gain because he didn't like the op amp to do that much makeup gain because it didn't sound good. He said,
"Yeah, maybe it's a color thing. Maybe it really is a color kind of thing with the tone.
Yep,
could be. Yeah, if
you're really trying to recover the same swing like a non-master volume amp swing, then it's a lot of gain.
You want to try it, right?
Yeah, you do need something to recover it if you're going to do that. Yeah.
Sure.
But it's really interesting if you look at this. The architecture of this is very much the Laney.
Yeah,
it's pretty much the same thing.
And differs. This amp completely differs from his other work.
Yeah, it's
so I found that interesting.
So I was chatting with one friend earlier about this amp actually because he said about Paul Gilbert using it on the Mr. Big Bumper Head record, and Paul's tone on that is great. It's some really, really great tone. It's like a big kind of modded Marshall sound. And I'm pretty sure he used these amps almost exclusively on that record. Yeah, and then funnily enough, then he went over to Laney like 2 years later, and then used the GH100L for years. So you know, it's interesting how that kind of there's that kind of parallel we were just talking about with this and the Laney.
We should go into all those other amps at another time, like the GH100L and the VH100,
VH100R, isn't it? Yeah,
100R.
Hey, I got one more for you, Jason, to pull up real quick. Carvin MTS 3200.
Is that
this? The hell is that?
I've never worked on one.
Carvin MTS 3200 came out in the same year that these amps did, and it's probably the exact same amp too.
Interesting. Everyone was just buying each other's amps and just copying.
Apparently.
Yeah.
3200, did you say?
Carvin MTS 3200.
One thing's for sure, it wasn't the X100B.
No, God.
God, no.
Possibly the worst amp ever made.
Oh, yeah. Great clean channel. Really nice clean channel, but that's all it did good. That's
kind of when people say that, I look at it like an insult.
Yeah.
maybe that's not the right model.
I had one of those X100Bs that had the carpet cover in, and I bought it from someone who was like a chain smoker. You could never get the smell of that thing.
Is this a schematic, Shay?
I don't think this is the right model. I'm sorry. It's the wrong model. But there's a Carvin amp that came out.
It also looks interesting.
Oh, look at this.
Circuits. Yeah, I see clip circuits and tone shaping up front. Yeah. This could be cool.
I think I worked on one of these a few years ago, and it sounded awful. Like, seriously.
Okay.
I don't know. It was just. What did I do to it? I think I did something. I tried to make it sound better somehow. I can't remember what I did.
I'm sure it came out better in the end.
It's pretty low bar, man, to start with. So, it just sounded fizzy, man. It's the box of bees thing.
This was the same thing with the X100B.
It's like NAMM. Box of bees, big time.
It's NAMM.
Yeah.
It's the NAMM amp. Every amp sounds exactly the same.
Yeah, you look at like PTSD.
I did literally PTSD after NAMM. He's just like, if I hear one more fucking guitar player play through something that sounds like a box of bees, I'm gonna die. Because after a while, everything, it doesn't matter how great of an amp it is, it sounds like a box of bees.
Listen to the game. Listen to the game. Yeah.
DC heaters. Kind of okay, maybe not.
I don't know, man.
So what about the Laney series 2? Did we do that already, or no? We didn't do that yet.
No, we didn't. We should.
We'll
sorry. Yeah, this is a 90s.
We should go there because I think at 4:30 or 4:35 I might have to go.
Yeah. We'll just
at that point we'll talk about it.
I had a very erratic, busy day today.
It's all good, man. So
I did something before I got on here, and now I got to do something after I get off of here.
Yeah.
Hey, dog. My dog's here to say hello.
Well, what's new? Hey, puppy. We normally see you laying on some bed in the back.
Yeah. He's normally just like hanging around.
That's
I remember years ago when I did I think it was during the pandemic, we did a tone talk with Bob Bradshaw, right? And at the time I had this older cat that would randomly start meowing, like moaning. She would always do this. She would just like meow, meow, meow. And right I was doing it from home at my dining room table. Right in the middle of it, she started doing that. And Bob was like, "Where's the kitty? Bring the kitty." And she got on camera on that one. She died a couple of years later. But she was 21.
Immortalized through tone talk though.
She had a long life.
Yeah,
that's nice. Mine started hiding when we started doing these podcasts. I think he thinks you guys are all in the house with me, you know.
Yeah, I remember he used to come and visit like before the first couple of podcasts, and then like he doesn't come around so much now.
Right.
Well, he used to hang on the couch, man, right next to you there.
Yeah. I know he's hiding.
Bruiser. All right, this is the Series 2, guys.
All right,
so there's a few little changes right off the bat.
You know what the biggest change is? It's moved from hand drawn to being done on a computer.
Yeah,
massive transformation and technology here.
Yeah, I think the computer got invented in between, like.
So what do we have? Was that 100, man? What's the cap?
Microsoft Windows was finally released.
Windows like 1.1 or something, right?
Windows 3.11. Come on.
Fuck, imagine how long it took to make this schematic on like Windows, like the original. Shit. Hope they paid him well.
All right, so in comparison to the Series 1 AOR, what are we seeing here?
Again, two 2.7 stages.
You can't turn the gain pot off.
This is saying the 100K, 100K.
No,
it's the same, right?
Yeah, that's there's an extra 100K there.
What is this 2K2 doing? R8.
That's stopping you from turning it off. Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Bingo. Yep. That
okay. So I think on that earlier schematic there was no grid stopper on the second.
No, there was no, and the coupling cap is different too, right?
Coupling cap's massive, and the cathode cap's a fraction of the size.
They made it bigger. It was 22.
They made it bigger. They made it bigger. Then they reduced the cathode cap.
Oh, okay. What was here before?
It was a 47.
0.0. I thought it was. Yeah, it was.
47, it's 47.
I can have a quick look here. Hang on.
So they, in a way, even though they increased the coupling cap bigger and they reduced the cathode cap, they kind of kept it the same.
It was a 47.
Just adjusted slightly.
It was a 47 microfarad. Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
but if you change this 2.2 mic cap with a 0.68. And you change that whatever it is, C2 with a small value cap like a 0022.
That's the big game changer.
And then you have two resistors in series.
Yeah.
200Ks in series. So you have a 200K with 100K, with 100 and 2.2K to ground.
But it's similar. I mean, the classic Jose is 68, 68.
They limit the gain a little bit, a little bit
more than before. Yeah.
And then the grid stopper,
Yeah, the grid stopper is the big game changer.
That's a big difference there. And then we got
the voicing.
The other version had 22 off the second stage, didn't it? That's the same.
And then it goes into the this is different. Then it goes into the classic 800.
Classic 800.
Little thing there, which didn't exist in the other schematic.
This is the better version for me. The sound of this is the better sounding version than the first series.
You can tell it's going to sound
a little
better
brighter there. We got a little more attack and brightness. And then you have a slightly bypassed
bright cap. Yeah.
What's the bright cap there? 001?
Yeah,
one nano.
Yeah. So it's partially, it's not quite as
220K in series there.
See that the limiter, the limiting of the cap. You see the same thing on the JVMs.
Yeah.
They use the 470K. It's very slightly differently done, but the point is it's still limiting the bright cap. You don't see it in too many designs, people limiting the bright cap.
So this is more 800 after that initial gain stage.
Yeah.
So you get more cut and more percussiveness with that bright cap and that 470K, a little less gain there. But they leaned it out a little.
Yeah, that grid stopper really helps big time.
Yeah, because in the other amp they just came straight from that 22 this couple of straight to the pot.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, on an 800, you don't have a grid stopper after the gain pot, do you? So it's more round. Probably why it takes a boost really good. You know, if it probably guys who really like to hammer the front end and do the boost thing probably would prefer that without that. What is it, R14? They'd probably prefer it if that wasn't there, because it feels a little bit different. But that, if you plug in and get all the gain from the amp, having that grid stopper there is great. Stops it from going into complete mush, you know.
Go to the right just a little bit, Jason.
What is that that second H11F doing? The one that's
I think what you're doing essentially, there's some sort of channel switching thing going on where it's lifting that second pot.
Yeah.
And then it's tied to some other stuff switching on the front end too.
Sure, because you put like another 1 meg in the ground leg of that one pot. So
yeah.
So decoupled again. The EQ's decoupled again.
Yeah, bigger cap this time, right?
It has the mid boost.
Much bigger cap.
Oh, I have to read these schematics. I have to bring my glasses.
So you got a 0.68 that you're blocking the cathode follower with.
Yeah. So this is bigger. And the other, it was a 220 nanofarad, right? And
that's all.
So
like
whatever. Yeah, I reckon the 6.8 is probably going to be less of a tonal change, probably.
Yeah. Still has the audio pot on the treble.
Yeah, good catch.
The middle's back to a linear.
Yeah, I like the 22K linear pot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it feels really scooped. Otherwise, if you got the audio taper there, it's weird.
And then we're pretty much looking at the same thing.
This is the same, right? The 10 nanofarad off the triple wiper into the 1 meg divider into the grid with that local negative feedback. That's all identical.
That's same.
Yeah,
straight up same thing there.
The master, the bright cap, and this.
Yeah, this is where it's right. The AOR.
So we've got a master and an AOR. What was the difference in
two masters? You don't have like the other one had like a lead master kind of thing. This has switchable masters.
They're just independent master volumes. They're not tonally different. They're just the same. Yeah.
And they've got that top boost.
The top boost.
Yeah, and it's interesting actually because on one of them, the top boost cap is limited more than the other. One of them is a 47K into a 1N. The other one's 58 into a 1. It's so slightly, I guess the AOR master is going to be a little bit brighter. Tiny little bit brighter. But I don't know why they would do that, but still.
Yeah, generally putting any bright cap on a master is just awful.
Yeah, it's going to sound terrible.
But that tube stage is allowing them to use low value master pots. So they can use 100K. These are the 100K master pots in parallel, essentially. So it's like a 50K load on that stage.
Yeah, because you couldn't have that coming off the
off the tone stack. Well, no, you'd lose all your volume.
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, so that's logical why the tube stage is there for that. They kind of utilized it better on this than the first one.
And then we got the same essential loop topology.
With this one, you've got the line out that you get off of the return.
Yeah,
the loop there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Does this have the reverb driver in it?
I don't think it does.
No. I don't think this one has reverb.
No. So this one, they just obviously decided that everyone was using racks at that point. Quad reverb, probably. Yeah. Everyone had a quad reverb into it, like
true. Absolutely, man. I own
like the thing all the time.
Loved it.
They probably built the loop to work with a quad reverb. Yeah. So
how funny.
I need to get one of those things just for fun. Like just to revisit that sound because it's like that proper plasticky reverb.
Well, man, I actually I owned one back in the day, and then I got myself another one maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like, because I had that nostalgia thing. I just wanted to like put the old rack back together. And it was pretty cool. It was all right, but you know, I had an even tighter clips by that point, I think, and it just sounded way better. So
yeah.
Also, there's the MIDI verbs too that were cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are
They had some. They had, actually, there were some sounds in those things that sounded amazing.
You know what I think does that kind of thing a little bit better though than all of those kind of units. The Yamaha FX 900.
Oh yeah,
You know the one? Yeah.
I know the one.
Brilliant. It's like an SPX 90.
I grew up making racks like starting in 1988. So I remember.
I remember all of it, man.
Yeah,
remember the ART
kind of
stuff,
an unheard of unit or something.
The ART stuff was always crap.
I had the ART
I remember
MIDI switcher. Do you remember the MIDI switcher that they had?
Yeah.
That was cool.
The MIDI pedal.
That was it was a good board
with the little round.
Cool. Yeah, the round
things. Yeah.
The round rubber.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Oh,
it sent MIDI.
It was probably the best piece.
Kind of hard to hit those
because
things.
It had no tone, so it was probably the best piece of gear.
Yeah. Well, it was like the old Rockman MIDI pedals.
Oh,
you ever see those?
I've never seen one. No, never.
No, they had these big plastic, looked like Tonka toy like buttons on it. Oh my god, it worked. It worked fine, but like it was. I remember the first rig I did for STP. They used that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
they used that MIDI pedal, and they used that fucking MIDI pedal for most of their career. And then in latter years, I redid their racks, and I swapped it out for a different MIDI pedal then, because they were all falling apart. They had a bunch of them; they were all falling apart.
Yeah,
man, it lasted clearly.
Yeah,
you remember that the ADA ones? They had the 10.
Yeah, no, the ADA was fine. It worked.
Yeah, I've still got that. I've got my ADA one MIDI pedal. Yeah, I've actually got both of them, man, because I had an ADA MP1 back in the day. Obviously, I've already mentioned it, and I stupidly sold it, but I did rebuy one again. I don't know, man, 8 years ago probably, and the sale, because it was hard to find a 240 volt one as well, because most of them that are listed on Reverb and all the rest of it are US or Japanese voltages. And anyway, so I found one locally here, which was great, and the guy that sold it to me had the original 10 in a line MIDI pedal, and also the one that was 5.2. You know, like they had a second version of it. Yeah, so I got both of those. So cool. Still work.
This stuff's really hard to find now. Like at least if it's not like trashed. You know, I still have like the Yamaha MIDI pedal that goes with the original like SPX series.
Oh yeah.
Using those things like built like tanks. It's been like abused and everything. It looks like shit, but it works.
Sorry,
he did. Yeah, he did ask a question just right below it. The guy who gave that super chat.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Shay. Thanks for picking that up. Yeah, Lee. Hey, man. Thanks for the super chat. Why would I need to link out the send and return, which I have on my own series too? Otherwise, it's quiet.
Oh,
okay. So
your jacks are fucked. That's probably why your return jack switch
must be.
Yeah. If you're saying you need to put a cable across it,
he needs to put a cable, because the way this is drawn, these should link.
Yeah.
It's
either got dirt in it or the switch connection bit on it.
You could look at getting that return. Maybe have a look at your return jack and see if you can clean it.
Same thing you see on a lot of like the 5150s. Everyone is like always like, why is the amp gone silent? And yeah, it's the
spray contact cleaner into the jacks and insert a plug a few times to see what happens.
Exactly what Dave said. Because as this is drawn here, this switch jack here should connect you send.
Yeah, it happens on my amps too. After a while, things get oxidized or weird or
you get some gunk and shit. I mean, you think how old these things are. Like now, they're bound to be.
Yeah, I remember I did a quick repair on a 2203 or 2204 where the low input jack.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't switching.
Yeah.
So, this happens quite a bit.
And it's just over time, right? That the spring, it had just kind of weakened so much that it was no longer connecting. So you might need to replace it.
Sometimes you can pull some of those jacks apart and like bend it a little bit.
Bend them back a bit.
Yeah, if they get flimsy, then it snaps off, and then you.
I tried. I ended up having to replace it.
Yeah, most of the time you have to just replace it.
Yeah,
I always replace those jacks, man. Always.
I prefer to. Yeah,
only for it to happen again 10, 20 years.
Exactly.
We have to give it a little bit more time.
Yeah, new jacks are not not built any better, right?
I always said on my effects loops boards, if I have to redo them at some point in time, I'm going to put a relay to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't rely on the jacks anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Good way to do it. So we're into the power amp.
Relay failure.
Same.
What'd you say?
I said then you'll find there'll be a relay problem or something.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Generally not. Generally relays don't have a problem.
They're pretty.
I'm not saying never,
right?
but
no, it's true. Relays usually are pretty good.
Almost
as long
never.
As you don't use them, they're quite good. Yeah. So
I don't think I've had a relay
on one of my loops. It works quite good. It's the same thing. Just it activates when you plug the
when you plug
you can switch it.
activate.
You can activate. Yeah, but then the jack. Then the jack will corrode and it won't lift, and then you won't switch the relay. And then
oh God, you can't win. Basically, no, it probably will, because generally speaking, you're not relying on the normaling. You're just relying on the fact that the jack is touching the ring.
I did a similar thing with this one.
There you go.
This is one loop that I bought. I designed, and it's got it's got a relay in there.
Full screen.
Yeah.
Hang on, let's
series and parallel again.
Show that, Dan. Let's full screen it.
Hang on, show us again, man. I'll bring you.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, I designed this one. It's a series and parallel loop.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave's not going to like those resistors. Get some PLR2s on there.
You know what? In the loop, they're good.
They're probably fine in the loop.
I use it too.
But it's it's a great. This is.
I hate those resistors for an amp.
This one's like an LND loop, but I did it. I've done a tube loop that's exactly the same. The 3 jacks and as like the breakout connections to go to the tube socket.
Mm-hmm.
Great thing. So, but yeah, the relay on it's great. So it's a cool little.
So what are the screen grid resistors on this? I can't see. It's not
okay. So let's just go through this power amp and then we can.
See, these are 1K.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah. There you go. So we're. Oh, what's the voltage on them?
Oh yeah, they're 1K.
460.
Basically 460.
Oh, 458.
Yeah.
This all looks pretty standard.
So
pretty standard, isn't it?
Standard.
They upped them from
100 watt Marshall.
1K on the higher voltage supply. Cool.
Yeah, standard Marshall 800 power amp.
So we've
voltage looking a little bit more right too.
Yep.
There's a tiny little bit more mains filtering going on. You got 150.
I was just looking at. I was trying to bring that up. Sorry, I was like, things jumping all over the place. Sorry, but we've got
you got 350s in parallel.
350s.
Oh, nothing in series. Interesting.
No, interesting. Considering the supply is 460 and they're 500 volt rated caps. I'm surprised they didn't double them up. But I've done Marshall mods where I've just left them, with a single 500 volt rated cap, and it's been nearly 470, 480, and it's been okay.
Fine.
I don't think it's too bad. It's probably only an issue when you pull all the tubes out and then you power it up.
Yeah, or if you have high wall voltage or something,
if you run it real close to the line, it's probably
it might be an issue in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Where
you get like
in some areas.
Yeah,
and 400 volts AC,
where it's 450.
It's pretty safe here in the cities, but if you're out in the country, you don't know.
Where it's 250. That's what I mean, 250.
Yeah. So you get probably 300 out the wall there, like.
Yeah, right.
Well, I know these guys. Like I've had guys tell me that they've measured 255, 257.
Oh yeah. I've had people message me about that. Yeah,
I've had it here, like where it's been up to 250 some days, but it's not really anymore. It's gone right back down to like 240 to 242 at the highest now.
Yeah, this is why I set most all my amps to 240.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though UK is supposed to be 230.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
And some places they say is 230. It's weird.
Well, Australia is officially 230 now as well, but
yeah, well, that really. I definitely know not there.
Yeah.
I'm 1 hour away from London, so I don't know if it's different in the.
Yeah, I don't know either. Most people I talked to, it was over 230. It was like 236, 238, I'm like, okay, 240 is safer.
Yeah, 240 sounds fine. It's only when it gets above 240 it starts to sound all like really like harsh.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yep.
So brown box or something.
It depends on the time. Depends on the time of day, right?
We did all the Laneys. Well, not all of them, but we did for today. We did all the Laneys for today.
Good enough.
We did all the Laney. Then we even did Ampegs.
This one's basically done.
This is like an interesting thing that we've been doing because obviously there's this thing that's happening in the late 70s when the Marshall or when the master volume circuits come into play, and kind of it's like a family tree that branches off.
Yeah,
it's like this kind of stuff that we're talking about with the Laneys and the JCM 800 kind of things kind of go off into this direction. Plexi stuff, the Jose stuff, and then when you get to the Soldano, where that goes, it's just
that was his own thing at that point in time. But but I thought Laney was the earliest example of taking and adding another gain stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's why it was. I say it's way ahead of its time. It's with a few tweaks, it's what we do now.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically, with the at least with the 3-stage, before the 3-stage kind of amp.
Yeah.
Makes you want to go and get one again.
Yeah, it's cool.
Just so you tweak it.
Yeah. And
make a few light improvements.
The whole nostalgia thing,
I had
because when I got that head, I actually got the matching quad with it, or what we call a quad 4x12, and that was a killer sounding cabinet.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it at the time until I A-B'd it with some other stuff, and a few years later, because it was the only 4x12 I had. This was it was my only reference point. But when I compared it to some other cabs later, I was like, man, this is a killer sounding cab.
So what was in it? What speakers were in that?
It was the 75s.
75s, right? 75s.
Oh, right. Because I know at some point along the line they used some sort of like a speaker by H&H, I think, or something.
No, it was the black and white sticker Celestion 75s.
Right.
I remember.
Yeah. I've never even seen one of the cabs. Never had any experience with one.
First time I saw those amps and I heard anything about those amps was because of Warren DeMartini. Because at that point in time, they were using the Laneys. And I think it was the Pro Tube series.
Yeah. Makes sense, right? I guess they were sort of, they were always Marshall guys, right?
Well, yeah, they were Marshall guys, but then for a minute, they used, early in their career, they used the Laneys.
Yeah.
And then they went back to Marshalls. I asked Warren, I go, do you have any of those still?
Yeah.
Because they're long gone.
I remember reading an interview where J.K. Lee said on Bark at the Moon, he said he had a Marshall and he had a Laney. And they used both.
Yeah. Well, Bark at the Moon was recorded with a Jose Marshall.
So it's Jose Marshall.
So Jose Marshall, and I think he said he had a Laney, but I think it was an old Laney.
Was it like a super group?
I think
like
so.
One of the old.
I'll ask him again next time I see him, but I think it was a super group.
This would be really cool to know because I've always wondered what it was, because he made the comment in an interview that the Laney was a bit too round sounding on its own, like it didn't have like the bite and the sort of the chunk.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
But it was a Jose modded Marshall.
Yeah, it sounds like
just the low, just the 3-in-1, I think, and EV speakers.
Oh yeah. True.
That was the combo.
The EV thing, you can really hear it, especially also on Ultimate Sim. That's totally like the EV sound as well on there.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah, and the Ultimate Sin, I think he was a little vague on that, but I think it was an 800 boosted.
Yeah, that tone I love. I mean, on Bark at the Moon, he's just ripping anyway. But like Ultimate Sin, like is kind of like it's a point I remember. Like it's really nostalgic for me because it was like so integral to me learning a lot about guitar playing and tones and everything. And you know,
I think it's time for a third tone talk with Jakey Lee.
Yeah,
always, always.
Yeah,
because it's a lot of fun generally.
I'll never forget that first one you did with him.
Oh my god, this is the most viewed show we ever had.
Have you had Zach Wild on there?
No, not yet.
Damn it, you got to get him.
Yeah, I know Zach, and that's going to happen eventually.
I watched. He was on Garza podcast the other day, and I watched some clips of it, and I love that song "Miracle Man" so much.
Oh yeah,
it's
man,
like one of my favorite songs.
This is the one where he says, "Oh, it's Foxy Lady."
Yes, you watched that too. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, you got to have him on there. Man.
Yeah, no, I want to have him on. I got to hit him up actually. I have a whole bunch of people lined up, but you know, sometimes it's funny. You get the information, and they say through a friend, "Yeah, I'll do it, no problem," and then you email them, and it's like crickets. Crickets for a while. You know, some people. We've been doing that for a long time. We were going to have Scott Ian on. Yeah, I want to do it. Blah blah blah, and then crickets forever. Yeah, and then you know, like same thing with. I have Brad Gillis's number. I want Brad Gillis on.
Oh yeah,
I think that'll be great.
Hell yeah!
And we're also going to do Wes Borland. I think that would also be fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, awesome.
You know, so there's stuff lined up. The next one is Johnny Resnick, who's actually a complete gear nerd. So should be totally fun. You know, an epic songwriter.
Yeah,
epic songwriter. Awesome. So
I mean, the show with Caesar was awesome, man.
Caesar's awesome, dude. He's awesome.
Lovely guy. Yeah.
Caesar Soto, from Ministry.
I need to watch that one.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man. He's very talkative.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hard to get in word in edgewise sometimes, but that's how he is.
That's what you want, though, right?
That's how he is. No, that's cool. Yeah. That's fine.
You don't want a quiet guest.
No, you don't. Like I remember the very first time we had Bob Bradshaw on, it was like we turned him on, and we were like, Bob, wait, stop. You know, the first time especially, it was just like, wow. But it was great.
It was ready to go.
Cool, you know.
Did you ever have Bogner on the show?
No, that hasn't
happened. He won't. I talked to him at Jerry Cantrell's birthday party at length about it, actually. And he doesn't like doing video podcasts.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't like doing it.
Some people are not into it.
He just he's like, I don't really look respectfully. I mean, he was like, respectfully, it's not that I wouldn't do it. It's just that I don't really like doing those video things.
He's crazy talkative in every video.
He would be great. I mean, I'll try again. I'll try again, but we'll see.
Yeah, it would be so great because I'd love to like kind of like hear his perspective on.
Yeah, like, we have a weird. I mean, I've known him since he came to the U.S. Since he walked into Andy Brower's Studio Rentals in these flowered pants. I remember the day he walked in the first time. Yeah. So I've known him since the beginning. And I mean, he's been at parties at my house when I was younger and things. I remember throwing him out of my house because like he wouldn't leave. It was like 4 a.m. in the morning, and he was like, "You got to go." I gotta go to bed, you know, and you just gotta go. And you know, so there's lots to talk about, but you know, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'll try some more. I can't get Rick from Wizard to do it either,
dude. It's not. I don't blame those guys. It's not for everybody.
I mean, Rick. I've known Rick a really long time too, and we're friendly, and we're, you know, it's like totally fine. And I asked him, I go, come on, just come on. I don't do any of those. And it's true. He doesn't do any of those.
I get it though. Like, you know what? Like I back when you got me to do Tone Talk years ago, like I'd never done anything on camera like this.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed thinking about it now that I've done this many shows with you guys, because I don't go to anything. Like I go to concerts and stuff, but I never do interviews and things in person ever. You know, but like this, I'm totally easy going with.
Well,
like,
it becomes just, I mean, Shay at first too was like, I don't know.
Yeah. I was terrified when we started doing this,
you know,
man.
But it's like we're sitting around a pub having a having a beer. I mean, that's essentially that's what some of us are doing.
Basically,
so, except Jason, I'm poor Jason. It's fucking 10 gazillion in the morning.
Getting low.
Just it's like
coffee for him.
Going to a coffee shop in the morning. Yeah,
but you know, that's what we do.
It gets a lot easier. I mean, and even I remember Jason telling me this. He goes, "Dude, these things just get so much easier," and they do.
I've done so many at this point. I can't even, it doesn't even matter anymore. I mean, I'm like, all the interviews, when I used to have to do stuff for stores at NAMM and things like that, I used to fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
But after a while, you're just like, okay, here we go. Yeah, another one. Okay, yeah. Hey, how you doing, guys? We're here at NAMM 2020. God knows what year it is. And we're going to show you what we have new. Okay, here we go.
You just
and last NAMM, I did that 1,000 times.
Oh, I can imagine, right? You know, you're probably like swamped with press.
No, last NAMM was particularly bad. I mean, like every minute of my day, all the 3 days, I had stuff. It was like, whoa. Like just like, hey, next year let's schedule it on 2 days and let's give me 1 day where I don't do it.
Yeah, you need just like a quiet day. Well, quiet day and NAMM doesn't really go hand in hand, I guess, but still.
Guys, I gotta go.
All right, this is perfect. I'm good right here.
Yeah, no,
this is a good place to.
I don't like to cut it short, but
no, it's 2 hours and 36 minutes. So we've given it a good match.
It's been great.
Yeah, I gotta go somewhere. So
JCM 900 next, right?
Yeah, we can
unless we come up with something better.
We'll chat about it and we'll figure something out.
You know, discuss how stupid the DSL circuit is.
Yeah, we're gonna do that one too. We will do that.
We could definitely bitch about that for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 gain stages in a row, and half of them are just like high gain. Let's cut it back down to low gain. Let's boost it back up to high gain again. Why?
All right, guys. We'll see everyone in April.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Till then. Take care, guys.
Bye.
I got balloons.